Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure tonight. Happy Thursday, December 12th, 2024, as the drone crisis escalates. Yes, that's right, folks. A fleet has been spotted coming in out of the ocean. Not out of the ocean, but from the ocean. We've got some great pictures and videos to get to us tonight, and my gosh, what a night it's going to be. Another one of those nights of the government denial, and yeah, we got a lot of interesting information tonight to share with everybody. On that note, let me go ahead and strike up the drums. Not too loud. And let's go ahead and welcome in our audience. Who the heck do we have out there? Well, we have Angie Ford's here along with Anton Ghost, April R. Coleman, pulled up alongside Banana Bowie, who's the first person in the chat tonight. Good to see you here again, Banana. Brandon Steinbach, 420. Absolutely. It's 420 around the world. Sometime of the day. All right, let's see. Brains is here along with Kristen Kearns, Cindy Feelhaller. Good to see you, Cindy. Clear Glass Studios is here along with Corporal Abe. Craig's around along with Crazy Horse, Dan Larev, and Dreamed Lioness. How about that one? Good to see you, my friend. Also, let's take a look. Who else is here? We got DRVB. Dude Abides. Eddie's here along with Eli McGinnis. Ernie's here along with Feigen Chow 87. Good to see you, my friend. Long time no see. Firefly is here along with Frank Cathell. Who else we have out there? We have Glow Watcher. Green Tea with Lemon. Griff showed up along with JB. Good to see you, JB, as usual. Or better known as Ninja. Jake Knott from State Farm along with James Matheson. J-Cat's here along with Jeff and Jerry and Jim and Joey and John Minster and John Mooner and John Westcott. Wow. Joker Mojo's around. Johnny UFO's here along with Kelly Broten, those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. Clipper's around along with Kristen and LaPatra. I got that one right. Goodness gracious. Lee's here along with Liz W. Lee Bemby. Let's just be not L. Yeah. Let's move on from that one. Lord McCormick is around along with Liz W. Madness. Yeah, it is a bit madness right now. But Mama Sap's here along with Marcus and the Mandels. We've got Marvin Martian, Mia Luna, Mike Angel, Mississippi Martian, Modern Office Girl, Mr. M Spin. We also have Mr. Joey B. Oh, Wise Owl is around here. We have Paladin. Good to see you, Paladin. Paul DeMahon, Peggy and Southford are friends. I think it'd be Crockett and Tubbs and Steve. Give Steve a big hug for me. And well, Crockett and Tubbs too, my God. Let's see who else we have here. We have Pierce Wright. We've got Rachel Osborne, Rami. Reality Check VIPs here along with Roland Gibbs, Rough Freddy and Sam, and Scott Fletcher, Shane, Shelly Montgomery. Look, good to see you, my friend. We've got Sherry, we got Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone Crystal, Mineral Magic. Well, that is a tongue twister, but I got it right. How about that? Stefan's here along with Stefan Forbes or Stefan Forbes. Either way, we'll get one way or the other. We've got Sterling Paul here along with Steve Neely, Steve Skinner, Stevie Cakes, super unknown. How about that? We got Tasha, Pterodactyl, that Patrick. Oh, he's back in the chat and he's not going to be kicked out. No, never. We would never do that to good old Patrick. We got Chromosome Cowboy. Tim's here along with Tim Rossmione. I slaughtered that one. Sorry, Tim. But it's different from Tim Tracy, Toxic Revenger. Trevor Williams is also in the audience, along with Trish Bliss, Twiggy, Wesley, Yankee 58, Mr. 99999, the Lady Who, and Yell Tommy Taker, also known as Andy. How about that? But friends, it's not just about the people who are out in the chat. Sometimes it's about the people who are in the back to go ahead and help this show come up with some questions and things to talk about. Let's go ahead and first welcome in our dear friend coming all the way from the city that never sleeps. That would be Bangkok, Thailand. Welcome, Corporal Abe. How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing? Happy holidays, everybody. Really excited to dig into tonight's show and try to get some answers.
Awesome. Great to have you here, my friend. Also coming to us from the upper Midwest, we have our remote viewing targeter, Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great, Thomas. I'm looking forward to the updates.
Thank you for coming in. Next friend we have is a man coming from the country where all the U's are silent. Let's welcome in Mr. Michael Sokoloff. How's it going, Michael?
It's going good, Thomas. It's going to be a good show tonight.
Oh, I certainly hope so, my friend. Well, if we turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe, there's a good chance none of your business is going to pop out of Australia. Well, not really none of your business. It's Susan Ford. How's it going, Susan?
I'm really good, thanks, sweetie. Yeah, looking forward to tonight. It's just crazy out there, isn't it? Isn't it crazy?
You better believe it, my friends. You better believe it. As we get to the open, no, I will not call on hands for a bid here, friends. Let's see who else we have in the back. Well, if we go ahead and put our sights on Southern California, it's a place you ought to be. Let's welcome in FaZe Will. How's it going, Will?
Hey, what's up, Thomas? What's up, man?
Oh, I was feeling a little bit tired, but I tell you, starting up the show gets me going. So welcome, my friend. Thank you for coming in tonight. We also have our next guest coming in all the way from I'm not sure where, but I know it's Rick Roberts. How's it going, Rick?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to the show. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Sounds like you got my voice talking a little bit fast. That's pretty good. Let's set our sights on the East Coast and welcome in our dear friend Tia Loreno. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. Excited for the show as always.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to have you here, my dear lady. As always. Now,
Pleasure.
go ahead and set our sights on the headlines today. What are we talking about? Yes, there is the drone crisis is escalating. We've got a picture coming in from Point Pleasant Beach, Manasquan, New Jersey. Into the current situation, as it was hours ago, earlier today, we have at least a dozen drones coming in from the ocean. Citizens are advising me that they're about to take things into their own hands. Now, don't go out there with your guns, because there have been reports of people going out there trying to shoot at these things in the skies and they're getting arrested. So it's not a good idea, is it, Tia? No. All right, let me go ahead and get this picture.
Not at all, considering those bullets come down and you don't know where they're going to land. So don't kill anybody.
So what goes up must come down. Oh, yeah.
Remember that, guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not a good thing to go ahead and do. Not even with fireworks or the whole thing. Just, well, someone's got to get out there and do something. And maybe eventually one of these days our federal government will. But if I can, without any further delay, let me go ahead and bring this next picture up here. Where is that at? Document Solo. Here we go. So here's that picture again. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Coming to us from New Jersey. This looks like it was earlier this evening, maybe around 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that, as it's starting to get dark on the East Coast. But would you look at that? All the drones coming in off the ocean. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at least are in this picture. Maybe there's more. I'm just not seeing it. But there's definitely something going on. More importantly, late last night, there was another video that was shared out there on the internet going ahead and showing, this one's up in New Jersey as well, showing, I would call this a fleet of drones, whatever these things are, coming in, flying close together, moving around. And I would actually say clearly these are not planes, because you wouldn't have that closer grouping going of so many of these drones at the same time. It's a crazy situation that's evolving, and this is something we've dedicated our podcast on to go ahead and cover, to make sure we've got the latest, best up-to-date information on it. And I tell you, it's only getting better, my friend. Now, if I come back to here and I get ready for our next clip to come up, well, what do I have here? If I want to go ahead and start off, since we're focusing on this drone situation that's happening, we've got a press conference that happened today in the White House with good old John Kirby, who, of course, coming from the White House, he disappointed us one more time. And you know, it's one of those things where I'm not surprised, if you ask me. Let me go ahead and get this video up here. Let me get it adjusted a little bit so we can see exactly where it needs to go. And I'll be set up for all the rest of the videos we got to play tonight. Yeah, there's been a lot of pushback on what John is about to say. Let's get into this, folks. Here we go.
Now, finally, I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings.
Hold on a second here. I have to go step in on this one. And I have to call bullshit on this one because he said there's nothing that can be corroborated. There have been sightings that have been coming in from emergency responders. There have been sightings that have gone on from the New Jersey State Patrol and a helicopter that was flying alongside of one of these things and got afraid and went off the other way. We've also had reportings from people at the military bases, the Pentagona Arsenal, whichever it's called at this point, and other sites in New Jersey where it's been going on 6th to 16th. This is a classic disinformation campaign coming from the White House, which, I'm not surprised on this one, so let's continue. Here we go.
Contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels. And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace.
But that's, again, they've had drones coming over the airspace in New Jersey at military installations, at the Arsenal and other places. They've been over a bunch of different places, including water reservoirs and everything that deal with the civil population. Again, pushback from the White House.
That said, we certainly take seriously the threat that can be posed by unmanned aircraft systems, which is why law enforcement and other agencies continue to support New Jersey and investigate the reports, even though they have uncovered no malicious activity or intent at this particular stage. While there is no known malicious activity occurring, the reported sightings there do, however, highlight a gap in authorities.
Now, just to say what he's shown, there is no known. Basically, that's the legal out saying that, well, things could be going on, but we weren't supposedly aware of it. That's where that known or knowingly comes from.
And so we urge Congress to pass important legislation that will extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities so that we are better prepared to identify and mitigate any potential threats to airports or other critical infrastructure, and so that state and local authorities are provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well.
John, on the drones, does the U.S. government have any of its own imagery or video of these systems?
I'm not aware that we have U.S. government produced imagery ourselves, but as I said in my opening statement, we have certainly done thorough analysis of the existing imagery.
Hold on a second here. This has been going on for 3+ weeks. And to say that they don't have any imagery of anything, come on. Not believable, my friends. Here we go.
Cell phones that we're seeing. Basically, with what you're looking at, how can you credibly tell people that there is no public safety threat, there's no national security threat, that there's no reason to believe that a foreign government is involved?
Because the analysis thus far, in an investigation that is ongoing, has not revealed any national security or malicious intent or criminal activity. But, Jackie, I would remind you, we're at the beginning here, not the end. There's a lot more work to be done, and we're working closely with state and local authorities to gain more information. I would argue that we're moving pretty well here with a sense of energy to try to figure out what we can do to learn more about this. We're still in the middle of an ongoing investigation, and I'm up here explaining to you and letting you know what we know so far, what we believe so far. If information comes to light that changes that characterization, then my goodness, we'll be the first ones to let you know. But right now, there's just no indication that this is some sort of foreign malign activity or, in fact, even criminal.
Well, what I don't understand is, this has been happening since late November. I don't know that the law enforcement officials or residents in New York and New Jersey, or even the Democratic senators who wrote to Director Ray Mayorkas and the FAA administrator today would think that this has been handled with a sense of urgency. But that being said, has the President or the Secretary of Defense issued any guidance to NORTHCOM or military installations to act on these systems if they are deemed to be a threat in any way? And what's the benchmark for that determination?
So 2 thoughts. First of all, you're right, late November. It is now, the 12th of December. So I think...
No. This didn't start in late November. This started in the middle of November, on the 18th of November. So again, we've got them trying to go ahead and rewrite the script for their specific purposes. Again, at this point, we can say this guy can't be trusted. We may have liked him in the past, but at this point, he has violated the public's trust.
Shows that we're moving on with this and we're going to stay on it. So I want to disabuse you of any notion that we're not taking this seriously, because we are. I can also tell you that if the President, as Commander-in-Chief, believed, based on the information that he'd been given, that there was a national security threat at play here, or even a public safety threat at play here, he would issue the appropriate directives to not only law enforcement, but perhaps even the military if that was needed.
Well, here's the thing. I have to go ahead and put a pause on this for a second. Brando, Abe's got his hand up on this one. I need to go ahead and bring this up, and I just need to state this for the fact. Even Elizondo was out there, who was part of the disclosure movement, saying this is a national security threat. Flat out. It's a threat. We don't know what's going on, and we're going to say, everything's all right. We're not sure where they're coming from or what they're doing, but we're not going to say it's a threat. Well, those craft being here, if anything, that is a threat. And to have him saying that, the president, if he thought it was a threat, maybe if the president was back in the White House and had some cognition along with him, he would go ahead and actually do something about it. Because you know what? This is a threat to the homeland that's going on here every single night. To say our president is asleep at the wheel and not handling this in the proper manner, I would have to, well, I said it myself. Corporal Abe, have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, Thomas, I served during the same time that Admiral Kirby served, and today I'm disgusted at his analysis of what's happening, the way that he's delivering this information to the American people. I feel like he just basically said, whenever Joe Biden feels like dealing with it, he'll deal with it, and we all know Joe Biden's not capable of dealing with it. Where's the Joint Chiefs of Staff? You're not going to let the Joint Chiefs deal with it or advise Joe Biden that there's a threat, and here's an admiral just obfuscating and honestly lying. I am disgusted and embarrassed.
Yeah. And by the way, we're very bipartisan on this channel. At least we're trying to be with this whole situation. The only reason we're going ahead and pointing out the deficiencies in Joe Biden is because he is the commander in sleep right now. He is the one who has the opportunity to go ahead and do something. And my God, take out that magic pen, take out the big marker, sign your name, put it out there and get these things out of there, because this is a national security threat that's happening at our country on a nightly basis. And for us just to get up there in denial and twist the situation to our liking, that's not what the American public needs right now, especially all the people in New Jersey.
Not with everything that's going on currently. I agree as well.
Yeah. And I know there's some people out there who don't like Trump. Let's just look at this and say, hey, whoever the president is at this point in time, he better do something about it. And if not, if we have to wait until January 20th to make something happen, then we will. But you know what? I'd like to see something from our president today to go ahead and get there. Now, we did have a super chat come up really quick from Shane saying, are they just trying to get laws written that will allow them to shoot down genuine UIP if contact occurs? Well, maybe they should have. If we, here's the thing. There was a tweet that came out. If a drone flies over Area 51, it's shot down within 30 seconds. And they've shown them getting shot down like that. But here, we have these coming in night after night after night, and we're acting like we can't do anything. There's something crooked going on here, Joe. Or Mike, for that matter.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there's an update of, we have live feed. There was a video clip that just came in from New Jersey where they have these objects over the property, and this woman had put it up. There's like 8 of these objects. I sent it to your DM.
Yeah, we got that one. She tried to put it up there and show it. I'm right in the middle of a video clip, Mike. We can get to that one in a bit. But yeah, it's craziness. Yeah, it's do I have it here somewhere? Where is
it? We're being overrun, it seems like, by this crisis that we're dealing with these drones.
Yeah, it is, Mike. It's one of those things that just doesn't stop. Yeah, I guess if I can go ahead and find that really quick. Let me just bring it up and show it. I had it up here before, but something, oh, come on, X, there you go. Let's go ahead and bring this little clip up here. Not that one. You already sent me that one. Here we go. Let's go to this clip here. And we've got someone who's trying to put up a drone last night. This isn't tonight. This is last night. They're trying to put up a drone because I got this one this morning, and it will not go up. It went up once, it came down, and then it would not go up a second time. So it's just an evolving situation. Before I get into more people in the audience, I'm jumping around like someone with ADD going after something bright and shiny. Let me go ahead and continue on with this.
Well, because we have right now 2,806 people in our audience.
Oh, yeah. We do, Mike. Yeah. Absolutely. And do us a favor, folks. If you're having a good time, please like and subscribe to Disclosure tonight. Would you look at that with that many people watching the show right now with only 345 likes? What are we doing wrong? And if you like the updates and the work we do to gather all this information and present it on a nightly basis, please hit that subscribe. We love to have you here as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. Since you brought it up, Mike, would you look at that? We're at 2,311 subs at this point. I want to thank everybody who's part of the show, who's done this, for subscribing. Let me go ahead, and there we go. The number goes up. Let me go ahead and continue on with John Kirby. Here we go.
Back to something I said at the top. There has been no evidence of any of this activity in or near restricted spaces.
That's not what the senators said in the letter. They said, in fact, that they've been observed maneuvering their critical infrastructure, sensitive locations, including reservoirs and military installations, and cited a concern from law enforcement about public safety threats because a medevac helicopter was prevented from transporting a seriously injured patient for care because of the presence of these drones.
I stand by my opening statement.
Can you make that make more sense? Because I think people in New York and New Jersey see drones the size of an SUV over their house every night and think that that doesn't make any sense.
Certainly I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, my goodness, looking at this. And
yeah, but why did she go ahead and basically say majority of what people are seeing aren't drones, that it's actual planes? That's just disrespectful to the people out there who are actually going ahead and trying to report this. Remember, the FBI, Mike, aren't they going out there and saying, if you see something, say something, give us a call and report it?
Oh, they want video footage. They want eyewitness testimony. Yeah, they want everyone, the public, to do their job for them. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Now, you showed the clip just now of the drone with the battery dying when it's in the proximity of these objects. Prior to that, there was another short clip that gives us really good detail of what these objects look like. And I think when we hear Admiral Kirby claiming it's a plane, maybe we should put that object up to show everybody exactly what these things are. They're not planes.
Well, I've got the picture you've got here of the different dots in the sky.
No, it's a video. No, that's the one for tonight just now.
Oh,
before that.
It's another one of a fleet coming in right now. So breaking in Port Murray, New Jersey, that one, right?
That's the one.
Let's go ahead. Let's get through this piece first. I've already shown a couple clips at the start of the show showing the fleet of drones coming in. If I go ahead and bring this one up a little bit, let me try and get there. Let me download this and show in a second, Mike. You're breaking my stride here. Let me get this one back, and we'll get to that in a bit. Here we go.
And we understand that people are concerned. We understand that they got questions. We got questions too, and we're working hard to get the answers to that. What I can tell you as we sit here today, at 2:16 in the afternoon on the 12th, is we haven't seen any indication thus far that there's a public safety risk, and we haven't seen.
The government know what they are.
We are still investigating this. I can't tell you definitively. I cannot characterize for you definitively what these sightings are. I can just go back to what I said at the opening. We've looked at the imagery. We can't corroborate some of the reported sightings through our own expert analysis using sophisticated detection techniques, but that doesn't mean that we're putting our pen down here this afternoon and calling it a day. We're going to keep at this.
What are you doing, though?
We are continuing to investigate it, as I said in my opening statement, 2 federal agencies, as well as the United States Coast Guard and state and local law enforcement officials, which we are staying in close touch with.
Picking up on drones, has it reached a level, or is there a level determined by which the president or the administration, more directly, would prohibit any use of the airspace, since it is regulated, for drones for a period of time to try to figure out who they are and to remove this anxiety that people in the Northeast are feeling?
I don't know that we're at a stage right now where we're considering that sort of a policy option, but I can tell you that we're going to keep an open mind here, and I think we're going to, whatever policy options we determine are appropriate will be informed by the investigation. And thus far, in this early stage of the investigation, there's just no national security threat that we see and no public safety risk. So again, you want to be careful that you don't you don't jump to conclusions and you don't jump to policy options that may not be appropriate at this particular stage. But we'll obviously see where it goes, and we'll be informed by investigators.
There you go. Interesting enough on this situation, Mike. Now, John Kirby has done nothing but a ton of denial, and it's just one of those situations we have to be concerned with. But before we get there, Mike, you did have another video you wanted me to bring up. Let me go ahead and bring that one up here really quick. And this is just, it's really confusing. They're zooming in and zooming out. It looks like they've got a video on their iPhone or their Android device, and it's closing and getting through it. But what we've got here is, it's usable out of it, is we've got a short clip going, showing we've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 6 different, maybe 7 different objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different drones that are flying around in the air over New Jersey right now within the last hour.
And look at the pattern of those objects, how they're dispersed. That's odd.
Well,
it almost looks like a question mark.
Yeah, kind of, but depending on where you're at and how you're looking at it, it's going to have a different shape. But for the most part, it looks like they're in some kind of a search pattern. What are they looking for? What are they trying to find? What are they doing there? There's so many questions we have without any real answers. That's our major concern. Now, we do have a couple people in the back with their hands up. First, let's go to Syrup. Go ahead, Syrup.
Yeah, I had a question and then a statement real quick. So it appears that hobbyists are unable to fly their drones, right? From the video you were showing, is that what's going on?
What was that again?
It appears that the hobbyists with drones are unable to get their drones up in the air.
Yeah, that looks that way, my friend. Absolutely.
Because I could have sworn Kirby said something along the lines of they think these are just hobbyist drones.
Yeah. Well, no, these are not hobbyist drones. No one's saying that they're... I don't think he said these are hobbyist drones.
Oh, okay. No, he said they're manned aircraft is what he said.
Right. Majority of what people are seeing are manned aircraft, meaning they're not seeing drones, they're seeing helicopters, they're seeing planes, but they're not seeing drones. But based on what we've been seeing this evening, that's actually what's been going on.
And okay, I just have a feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling the DOD is just going to downplay this thing.
Yes.
I hope that it just goes away.
Yes, that's what they usually do. So nothing new with that. And Thomas, we broke 4,000 in this audience right now.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
Also, you got a couple super chats from.
Yeah, I got one that came in from Faiswell. Thank you very much, Faiswell. I appreciate you coming out to the for the super chat tonight. That one kind of when Google reset itself, which it's been doing when we've been having these streams here, and so many people are out. Yeah, I lost that one in the mix, but before I could get the screens back up again. But I also want to thank Ian Harding for your super chat, and Shelley Montgomery, and Shane Whitehead, and Donna Fitzpatrick, and of course Philip. Thank you for starting off our super chats tonight. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are out there. And yeah, it's a crazy show, 4,111. This is our biggest show so far, Mike.
I know, Thomas. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Now, Michael does have his hand up. Go ahead, Michael. You're might be muted right now. If not, let's go on to James.
Can you hear me?
We got you, Michael. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to know, I'm curious about one thing. Now, they're saying this isn't a security threat, right? Well, I believe it is. And as a U.S. Army veteran, served in Afghanistan, 2 tours, okay, isn't it our right as civilians to defend our country, number one? Number two, my son showed me a video on X that these drones are in Iran and saw their military trying to shoot down these drones themselves. Now, it's kind of conflicting. And is it drones that are doing this, or are these UAPs? I don't know. But again, aren't we allowed to defend our country? I mean, the government obviously is lying to us.
Yeah. You would think we should be able to defend our country, but right now we're in this gray area with what's going on, because it seems like the citizens out there want to go ahead and defend their homeland more than the actual people who are in charge of it, like DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and our armed forces. Why are they so asleep? Where's our intelligence community when you need it?
Exactly. And as civilians, they're not doing nothing. So why don't we do what needs to be done? But again, like Tia mentioned, we don't want to hurt nobody. We want to do this the safe way, come up with an idea, protest peacefully, demand the truth, demand answers. Something has to be done, because they're not doing anything.
Yeah, I agree, my friend. Yeah, there's too many excuses going on right now, Michael. I tell you, there's a big problem in that. Now we do have another super chat that came in from Lord McCormick. Thank you. Kirby's new cookbook, Word Salad. Eat it up.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Hang out, my friend.
Right.
Wonderful to hear your comments later on during the show. And I actually, you know what, Lord McCormick, I hate to say it, that book title was already taken by our former presidential running mate, Kamala Harris, on that note. James Matheson, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I was thinking that those airplane-looking craft could be using LiDAR, which is a ground-penetrating that uses radar that uses light. They could be searching underground, and that's something you can't use in stealth. So that's why they're mimicking our craft, and it looks like running lights. And they're searching for something underground. They could be looking for cryptoterrestrials, or it could be our craft. I mean, I think that's LiDAR. I think it's a possibility.
Time will tell. And if we're dealing with stuff that's non-human in nature, James, just to say it, their technology, they wouldn't be relying on human technology like LiDAR, saying.
Similar. It could be using light to penetrate ground. We could have reversed engineered that from them.
You never know. That's true. Excellent. Thank you for that comment, James. Now to get back onto it, we've got some great videos coming up here next. Let's see, we've got New Jersey Assemblyman rips John Kirby's drone assessment. Yes, absolutely, my friends. Let's go ahead and get this one up here. And then we've got two mayors from New Jersey who are not happy about what was said as well. We've got Marjorie Taylor Greene, a bunch of other people calling out the lies, my friend. No one's, just like our audience, like myself and the people in the back, no one's believing what John Kirby at the DOD, the White House just said. Let me get this video up and we will play this one. And here we go, folks. Remember, if you're new to the show, you haven't subscribed yet, one last time, please do us a favor. Join the program, subscribe. It's absolutely free. We'd love to have you as a subscriber here on Disclosure tonight. Here we go, friends.
Let's bring in Republican New Jersey State Assemblyman Brian Bergen. He's a former military helicopter pilot, was involved in that meeting yesterday that they thought the governor was going to come to, but didn't. You said after that meeting that you had gone to it to have your concerns allayed, but you came out of that meeting with even more concerns than you had going in. What are you thinking today?
Yeah, that's 100% true. I'm no better off today than I was yesterday. I mean, that meeting was a joke. It was a total waste of time, and it showed the ineptitude that's going on right now in this investigation. You know what we need right now? We need leadership. Somebody needs to step up and lead. Governor Murphy pointing his finger towards the federal government, it's not going to cut it right now. He has resources at his disposal that he needs to put into action. We have the state police, who I learned in the meeting yesterday, had a helicopter hovering above one of these drones and chose not to follow it back to where it's coming from. And he also has the National Guard, which he can mobilize to figure out what the hell is going on. We need leadership in the state of New Jersey, and it's completely void of that right now.
Although he says that his hands are tied by the federal government. I don't know if you saw it, but a few moments ago, John Kirby over at the White House said this about the drone invasion. Listen here.
The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin. Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
So what he's basically saying there is these are not the droids that you're looking for. I mean, what do you say?
Yeah, see,
I thought the same one on that today. Holy cow!
That guy's an idiot. That I can tell you right now, because the colonel of the state police told the members of the state legislature that one of his helicopters was hovering above a 6-foot wide drone, and he landed that helicopter because he felt unsafe for his pilots. I'm a former Apache helicopter pilot and a member of the New Jersey State Legislature, and I've seen these things in my own community. That guy, I don't even know his name, who was on here a couple minutes ago, is a fool if he's going to say that there's no issue.
Well, he's a former rear admiral in the U.S. Navy named John Kirby. So, helicopter pilot against the admiral. Go ahead.
Well, you know, go Army, beat Navy. That's what I have to say in this regard.
All right. So frustration does seem to be reaching the highest levels. This is what New Jersey Senator Cory Booker said yesterday. Listen here.
I've been a little frustrated. There hasn't been enough transparency, letting people know what's happening. It's allowing a lot of potentially misinformation to spread, or at least fear. We should know what's going on over our skies, and I've asked for a lot more information.
You would think after that Chinese balloon incident last year that people would be taking this a little more seriously in terms of investigation.
Yeah, we 100% should. I mean, we need people to take action. On the segment before I got here, somebody said, well, it's impossible to track hundreds and hundreds of these drones for our state police. We don't need to track hundreds or thousands. We only need to track one and find out who is at fault for one of these things. I'm telling you, it's a big issue. I hope at the end of the day, we find out that it was nothing, that it's some commercial application being tested, and this is a big to-do about nothing. But right now, everybody, senators, assembly people, U.S. senators are calling for action, and people are not making enough of a difference. Before, the same gentleman you mentioned earlier, he said that we're being resourced, the state was being resourced with this technology. In the briefing that we were at, the state police said that they were going to be getting some new technology from the Department of Homeland Security to track these drones. And apparently it was supposed to determine what's a bird and what's a drone to make it easier to track. One of my colleagues, and this was yesterday, said, when are you going to get that? And they said within 2 days. 2 days. We need it now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never seen a bird with lights, but maybe I've just missed a certain species of bird. All right. Assemblyman, thank you for joining us. The mystery deepens. And some people are saying the House, just across the street from me, just approved nearly $900 billion for the military. You think there might be a buck or two in there to try to figure out what's going on? We'll see. Thank you, sir.
Oh, but wait, let me go ahead and add on that one really quick before I call up that Patrick Fogarty to go ahead and talk about this one. Now, you know, there is a budget. I guess not.
No, I'll be here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, I thought you had your hand up, my friend.
I lowered it once you said it.
Okay, there you go, my friend. Now, coming out of this really quick, there is a budget for drone technology for the federal government, and that's for the FBI, and it's $500 million. It's $500,000.
$500,000.
$500,000.
Isn't that silly? That's silly.
It's a fucking joke.
They spent more money last year researching the effects of LSD on rats, and I am not joking. So you have known intel that you have adversarial development of drones. We knew about this going back to 2021. We had heard that China's next threat was going to be swarm drones. This goes way back. This is public information. That wasn't why I had my hand raised, though. What I had my hand raised was about something that everyone can check out, and I recommend you to when you hear about drone sightings. There's a thing called ATIS. It's Automatic Traffic Information systems. You pay for it as a taxpayer. It's made available by the FAA to every single pilot via radio, and every airport has to list the 1-800 number where you can listen to it. And they've been listing what's called TFRs, temporary flight restrictions. What a TFR, or a NOTAM, a notice to airmen for a TFR, it'll list if there's unusual activity, and they won't come out and say exactly what it is, other than they said in some instances there's been drone activity. This is something you can go listen to when you're watching the live streams of these people putting them up on YouTube. They're acknowledging that these things exist, and they're changing the flight path of incoming aircraft for landings from in multiple airports. You'll have perpendicular or nearly perpendicular runways, usually offset within about 90 to 140 degrees. And all of a sudden you'll see them using the uncommon runway, and they'll say due to unusual drone activity or constant drone activity. This information is available to every American, and it's posted by every single airport that has controlled airspace. And I recommend you looking up whatever airport is close to wherever they're posting this and listen to their ATIS as it's happening. It's really cool, and chances are you're going to hear stuff from closer airports than you'd expect. If you have an arsenal by you, if you have any type of atomic laboratory, anything like that, you're going to find, ironically, there's TFRs over these areas. Yeah. And this is just recent. So it coincides with everything. They're outright admitting what is going on without admitting what is going on. They said it's intelligence. They're intelligently controlled. Yeah. It's not our adversaries, and it's not us. Yeah. So they just kind of open the book on that. It's admission by denial. Yeah. But anyways, look up your local ATIS for your airport by you, and you can. It's a 1-800 number. Just keep your phone on speakerphone and listen to all the changes that occur, because you'll all of a sudden find if you're in one of these hotspot areas, they're actually letting pilots know to avoid this, avoid that. There are certain things to look for.
Yeah, we actually have a news clip we'll be playing later on tonight where there was actually some of this going on from the tower in Oregon. Where there were actually UFOs of 30,000 feet that shot up really quick to 50,000 feet, and they were having to divert planes around it. So it's not just drones. There are actually sightings of credible sightings coming from airliners that have to divert because of things in the sky that shouldn't be there.
There was, on the Oregon one, there's a video of a red drone that the on-flight radar was capturing as approach and diminish, approach and diminish. And the diminish was occurring so fast that it couldn't read it. The diminish would be able to read up to Mach 3. So what is that, 6,300 miles an hour? Yep. Is that, I think? So basically, something was entering the radar. It was being captured. The aircraft could actually see it. The pilot looked out the window, took his phone out, and started recording. This was over Oregon, and it was one of the red ones. This harkens back to the Chesapeake Bay sightings back in the, was it the 40s or 50s? Yep. And then the sightings over the White House, and then also Bob Salas, who, man, I loved the guy until election season. I did, but he just, the politics kills it, but I love him still. He was a patriot, and he came out and he talked his truth when he needed to. But as Bob Salas spoke about it, there were these red orbs, and this is exactly what this pilot filmed today. So it's not just on the East Coast. Now that it's being recognized on the West Coast, we're seeing more traditional signatures of what they've always spoken about. So I'll shut up. Let's watch some of these videos. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Let's get, actually, I just brought up a whole bunch more videos here because I had to go ahead and shut some things down. Let me get this one off here. I think that's the next one we're getting set to play. But since we're talking about it already, before we get into our next video on that, I've got a video here. Oh, where did that one go? It was here a bit ago. Oh, no, I've got that one up twice. Let me go ahead and I'll get that one up in a second because I lost it changing things around. Let's go ahead and play this next clip, and I promise I'll have that clip about what just happened in Oregon coming up next. Here we go, folks.
Drone. I'm not going to put it.
8:32 right now, and all morning we've been talking about the drones, right? This is a huge talker of a story. Hundreds of sightings across New York and New Jersey, even a congressional hearing about what is going on.
So yesterday, lawmakers from across New Jersey gathered for a meeting held by state police to try and get to the bottom of those mysterious drone sightings. Our next guest was there. He has an update for us. Middletown, New Jersey Mayor Tony Perry. Thank you so much for being here with us. So what was the big takeaway from the meeting? Are we any closer to learning where these drones are from?
Unfortunately, no.
Before we get there, hold on a second. We have a breaking UFO news alert coming in. This just in, breaking from Raw's alerts. We have it that numerous people are reporting at least 10 to 20 possible large drones over the New Jersey, Queens area. Very interesting to say the least. We've got a little video down here showing, and yes, I've got a dog who's making a bunch of noise here. She's learned if she makes noises, she gets treats. So I'm out of treats right now, but this is an interesting situation to say the absolute least. Let me get a document solo on this one so we can see this a little bit better. So yeah, we've got a major scenario going on. This is an evolving situation as the night goes on. As we get the alerts in, we'll keep on bringing them up throughout the evening. So let me get back to a different video here. I think we're going to play this one instead. New Jersey mayor calls John Kirby's comments ridiculous. Let's play this next clip. Here we go, folks. Let me get back to document video full. Here we go. Let's play this one instead.
Residents' fears and just kind of, you know. So, is it a bird? Was it a plane? No. It's dozens of alleged drones spotted across New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and it's stoking a lot of fear among the officials and the residents there. The unexplained phenomena had a lot of people just kind of scratching their heads at first, but now the rise in sightings is starting to spike concerns.
And I get it, right? ABC News cannot confirm what these videos show, but dozens of New Jersey residents have recorded unidentified aircrafts flying through the sky since mid-November, including Mayor Sam Morris of Mine Hill, New Jersey. He's one of several people to capture all of this on video, and he's also part of the coalition of 19 Morris County mayors and elected officials who are now demanding answers and action from federal officials.
Mayor Sam Morris of Mine Hill, New Jersey, joins us now. All right, Mayor, just a short bit ago, John Kirby did give an update on these sightings during the White House press briefing. Let's listen together and get your thoughts.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. We have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
Oh, I hate to go ahead and do this in another breaking news alert. This one just in from a couple minutes ago in Morris, New Jersey, in Pentagona Township. There was a drone incident that's taking place, reportedly of a drone down in a backyard. The bomb squad and CSI is being requested. So again, this is a very active evening of things going on. There's more of them showing up than usual, and now potentially we have one that's gone down. So let's go ahead and continue with this video.
Manned aircraft being operated lawfully. All right, Mayor, do you believe him?
So what that means, he's saying that we're all seeing small planes, right? That's my take on that.
Yes.
I have to tell you that's incredulous. I'm incredulous about that. That is ridiculous. I would invite Mr. Kirby to Mine Hill. Come on out, Mr. Kirby, and let's go on out one night about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll go out behind my town hall, and you can count them with me all night. I have a report that over here in Randolph, New Jersey, off Canfield Avenue, that over the valley, which is the town of Roxbury, I have a credible reference over there, a resident over there who told me there's anywhere from 30 to 40 a night, and every night they're in the same place doing the same things. So I have to say, Mr. Kirby, that's a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, it's a lot of nonsense, absolutely. But this just in, we have some footage that's up of the drones that have happened in over LGA Airport in Queens, New York, and the surrounding areas. You can see we've got one here that looks like the typical shape that we've been seeing out there. This footage just hit our newsroom as we're going ahead and reporting on this, so I just want to go ahead and scan through it. that actually looks like a jet on the bottom coming in for a landing. That's another jet. But there is a combination of what we're seeing here of actual drones and airlines. Now, don't be afraid, folks. What we're seeing here is these do look similar to actual jets, but their behaviors is a bit different. So before we get too far off target, I'll keep on looking for new stories, and let's continue on with this video.
With you, I'm kind of skeptical, just given the videos, and you're taking them, you're there. So tell me, first, a couple things. First, do they move like planes, or drones move differently than planes? We got a feel for that. And second, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says the government should shoot one down. What do you think of that?
I'm starting to lean that way myself. I can tell you, and neither of you are old enough to remember the game Pong, but when we were kids, Pong came out, and it's the ball goes back and forth and back and forth. This is the same thing. You look up in the sky and you see them, and some of them are just hovering and sitting. Sorry, that's not a manned small airplane. It's not a Cessna. And they go, in that video that you have of mine, over the east part of Mine Hill in the town of Dover, New Jersey, there's one drone sitting still, and it's pretty bright, and the others are going back north and south in an exact pattern. You can tell that they have GPS points programmed into them because they don't deviate. They go back and forth over the same thing. For him to say when he says we don't have information that these are credible threats or various things, it's because we have no information. So if you have no information, you certainly can say whatever you want about what's being presented to you. That's really insulting to all the people here who are living through this.
Well, you are definitely not insulting us, because Terry and I both played Pong growing up. Our parents couldn't afford a Pong. I had to go to the neighbor's house to play Pong. But I get the point that you're making, because it's a very slow back and forth of one ball to the paddle and to the other paddle. Anyway.
Very methodical. Very methodical.
So let me, so you're still very skeptical. You're not believing it. So here's my question. What do you want done? What do you want to see? What would relieve your fears, your residents' fears, and just kind of, cause everybody to relax?
Well, one thing that I would say to of course I represent this town, but I'm with all the other mayors in Morris County. To be honest with you, there were 250 mayors at the assemblage yesterday at the state police headquarters. I would say to the people of Mine Hill and the state of New Jersey, Morris County, that if these people wanted to do something, whoever's controlling these, if they wanted to do something to us, they would have done it. These things are what we call extremely obvious. They come out at night. Now people are reporting they run until daylight, but they generally were going wherever they were going by 11 or 12 o'clock at night, midnight, and they want to be seen. They're not hiding. They're almost taunting us or flaunting the fact that they're bright and they're out there and they don't care that they're seen. So if they were up to something bad in terms of harm, they would have done it. They wouldn't have turned all their lights on. They would have just come over and done something. There are farming drones that can spray farm chemicals, and people are afraid that that's what's going on here. People go on the internet and find those things. But if they wanted to do that, so I think people can relax about some kind of imminent threat, at least in my opinion. But the fact that you have something 100, 200, 300 pounds over your head, and it could possibly fall out of the sky, depending on a malfunction, that itself is enough of a threat. What I would like to see happen today is I'd like to see Michael Whitaker, the administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration, come out with a statement. We don't need the White House to do this. If he's in that role, he understands aeronautics and airplanes and space and everything else better than the White House. I'd love to see him come out with a statement and say, hey, we're looking into this and taking it seriously. Because what I just saw Mr. Kirby say is he thinks we're all, confused. I'll just be polite.
Well, there's nothing confusing by the fact that you're seeing something on a regular basis, and it's got you concerned, which is why we're talking about it, of course. But that's actually a really good point. You know, we'd love to hear from the FAA, Northern Command, find out exactly what it is that's going on. All right, we hope that you stay on the case, Mayor, and let us know, please, if you hear or find out anything. We'll stay on the story as well.
I appreciate the time and appreciate the getting this out there. So.
Mike, if I could, who would think that things would be taking off the way that it is? Oh my God. It seems like it's an escalation that knows no ceiling.
Well, I don't agree with what the mayor of Mine Hill just said. We don't know if this is a threat or not.
Right.
And just because we don't see anything visible doesn't mean they aren't doing something. I believe they are.
Right. Now, there has been reportings of seeing these things out there spraying things in the air, some kind of aerosol.
In South Jersey, we reported on that the other night. Yeah, that could be going on. And if that was the case, we wouldn't know about it, and certainly not these mayors. But I also want to make a quick point that we have over 5,400 people in the audience right now, which is another new record for us.
Yeah, it is,
but
Mike.
We only have 300 subscriptions with almost 6,000 on the audience. So
well, we have
please.
if you look at this, we're at 12,647 subs. Come on, folks. If you're having a good time, you're enjoying the show, like to see me getting distracted by a husky here who is a snack hound at this point, do us a favor. Give us a subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, we're going to keep on this as long as this situation is going to be going on, and then a heck of a lot farther, because in addition to covering just what's been going on with the drones, we cover a lot of UAP, UFOs, that kind of stuff. It's an amazing situation, to say the least. Now, if you
Liberty Wing just joined us, Thomas.
Excellent. If you look at our current viewers, again, we have 5,200, 5,300 people in the show right now with 1,157 likes, 1,200 likes. If you're having a good time, give us a thumbs up, and if not, give us a thumbs down. Look at those subscriptions flying, Mike. It's like Christmas. Now,
excellent.
I do have another clip coming in now. How they just mentioned about Senator Ralph Blumenthal saying we need to shoot these things down. Well, guess what? I've got that queued up for us to play next. So let's see what Senator Ralph Blumenthal has to say in the halls of the Senate building. Let me bring this one up. All right, here we go, folks.
We have no idea where these drones come from, who owns them. We should be doing some very urgent intelligence analysis and take them out of the skies, especially if they're flying over airports or military bases. They should be shot down if necessary, because they're flying over sensitive areas, whether it's planes that may be jeopardized or security at military bases.
So there you go. So there you go. We got Senator Ralph Blumenthal saying we should shoot these things down. Yes, I believe we have the firepower to take this stuff down, don't we, Corporal Abe?
We have multiple ways of taking things in the air down. Absolutely. From kinetic activity to EMP to rail guns to even lasers. I saw the UK just announced, and we can go to Andy. I think it was like a day or two ago. They just made a new miniature laser system specifically for drones, and I just watched the thing about that.
Yeah, so we do have the firepower, and it's Mike, and also you're from that part of the United States, but it feels like, our government is paralyzed. Like they can't make a decision. They can't find out what they're going to go ahead and do next.
It's interesting because what is really going on? Is it that the government is so disorganized that they don't know what to do about this and they have no clue? Or do they know and they're specifically trying to keep us in the dark about it? That's what I haven't been able to determine.
Well, I'd have to say, Mike, considering our military and the intelligence we have, I'd have to say they know what's going on, but they're not just willing to come out and tell us the truth and what they know.
No, they want to keep it hidden, if in fact that's the case.
Yes.
And I would suspect probably because this is something they don't have control over, like with the UAPs, and they don't want the public to panic. So they're telling everybody, when you look up, you're seeing, what was it that Admiral Kirby said? Manned aircraft?
Yeah.
Okay.
And aircraft. Yeah.
Right. No, that's definitely not what these things are. They're not manned.
They're not even close.
No, not even close.
I 1,000% agree with you there, Mike. I think that they're trying to avoid a catastrophe of chaos.
Mike, take it for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Ontological shock. I really think ontological shock is something that they're worried about.
Well, listen, it's not just a question of ontological shock or not. It's an issue of dealing with the general public, which is at best an unknown element. You can't control the masses. People have their own ideas and thoughts about things, and they act according to those thoughts and ideas. So coming from the perspective of the government, you have to try to suppress any information that could be construed on behalf of the public as alarming or threatening. And I know this from my work in law enforcement and dealing with the general public. So I can tell you that they're unsure about what these objects are or what they're doing. And instead of having people get carried away and just start randomly shooting up in the sky at these things, they want to try to control it as best as they can. But I don't agree with the tactics that they're using right now, because what the public desperately needs and wants is information. And it seems like they're doing the opposite of that. They're not giving us any information. They're trying to keep us in the dark as much as possible. That's only going to result in chaos, especially over New York City. And you know that, Abe.
I do. First responders have a duty to act. Where is the government's duty to act? First responders run into the flames, run towards bullets, run towards bombs, did that thing on 9/11. Now it's time for the government to shine, and we're just standing here waiting for them.
I was at 9/11, so I know exactly what it was like back then. And I can tell you, Abe, that because we were under direct threat and we were attacked that lost thousands of people's innocent lives, the public was focused. Something like this right now, there's no enemy. There's no one to take that hostility at and aim it at. People are going to be unsure about what to do and what's going on, and they're going to act with chaos. They're going to be attacking anything that they feel is a threat to them. They're going to be attacking each other, which also happens, unfortunately. And the government, instead of trying to deal with this as best as they can, they are turning tail and running, like the New Jersey State Police the other day that we covered. When they felt threatened by these objects, they ran.
Like the Coast Guard cutter.
Like the Coast Guard cutter.
Yeah. That drove me insane. That drove me insane.
You and I are on the same page, brother.
Yeah. If I could really quick, we do have another breaking UFOs alert coming in. There's a statement from Joint Base McGuire saying they're doing aerial gunnery training tonight. It's not the drones firing, it's a helicopter. We've seen the video. One of our sources here has seen the video on Reddit, and it does look alien-y, but it's something totally normal. So if you're seeing things look like they're shooting in the skies, it's not the drones, it's our military, supposedly.
Fort Dix, McGuire, Lakehurst Joint Base has multiple types of aircraft, and they're always training. They're always doing gunnery practice. It's a daily thing, nightly thing.
Absolutely.
And Abe, listen, at night, if they're using gunnery practice, they're going to be using tracer phosphorus rounds.
I saw the video. They're using tracers.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
So for our audience,
short burst tracers.
Holy cow, Mike! We're almost at 13,000 subscriptions to the channel. Tremendous growth! Wow.
Oh yeah. Well, we have thousands of people joining the audience as we're speaking right now. They're coming in because this is an ongoing breaking news thing where people are unfortunately looking for information because they don't have it.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to do our best to provide it to them in real time, which is why we're here.
Oh, that's why we're doing this. That's why we're focusing on this. I know some stuff, tremendous stuff happened in the UAP world tonight. This is front and center because this is live. This is happening now. We've got live alerts coming in while the show is going on. This is just one heck of an amazing night. Now, let me go ahead and bring up our next story we've got coming in. This one's coming from, well, you may not like her. She's a little controversial, but she may have something you may not agree with. And our next statement coming in for Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG. It's a slap in the face that the Pentagon continues to tell the American people they don't know who is flying the drones. over New Jersey. Let's get this next video clip up here for everyone to go ahead and check out. Here we go. Find and play.
Well, number one, I'm going to call it total bullshit that no one knows what these are. And I think it's a slap in the face to the American people to say they don't know what this is. They can track down a guy that just killed a CEO, but they can't identify what nightly drones are and where they're coming from. I think that is absolutely disgusting to lie to the American people like this, and the truth needs to be told about it. Secondly, if they're telling the truth, then this country is in horrible shape. We're all in danger. I mean, seriously, if our great government can't identify what these drones are, they're flying every single night, that people are sitting out there videoing with their cell phones, then no American is safe. And I have no respect if our government cannot say what these are.
So if we don't know who they are, right, so it's got to be somebody else, or they're just not telling us and they know who it is. And some people have said maybe it's, for an adversary. What do you think?
I seriously don't know, but I think they know. I think our Pentagon knows. Our Pentagon should know, right? The Department of Defense absolutely should know. And I'm not privy to that information. We're not in control yet. But I'll call them a bunch of liars. And I think they're full of shit.
Because they're saying they don't know. So it's like, if you don't know, then...
If they don't know, they need to resign in shame. That's what I think. And we need people in charge that can know what this is. But I don't buy it at all. Yeah.
There you go. I don't buy it either, Mike. What say you?
I got to tell you, you were right in the introduction that you provided for her. I don't always agree with her politics, but I agree completely with the statement that she just made. I think she's right. And this is what's going on from Washington. Even our elected officials are fed up with the government's response, or lack thereof.
She may be a bit controversial. However, her bringing the controversy to this, I think the controversy that we're getting put in place is actually coming from the lack of action from our military, from our Department of Homeland Security, from the FBI. Just put all the different organizations that all line up to the executive branch, and you know where the problem's coming from, where the inaction is coming from.
And you know what? People are frustrated and angry, as am I and you as well, because our tax dollars that they take out of each and every one of our paychecks and our bank accounts and our investments and our sales tax that we pay, because at the very least, we contribute our money so they can protect us.
Yeah.
And right now, we're not seeing any protection, any information, or anything that would give us some comfort or understanding or information on this whatsoever. So that would be enough to piss anybody off. She's right. I agree with her on that regard, don't you?
Yeah, I would have to say completely, Mike, because if you look at this situation, what's going on, there's no reason why we don't have an answer. There's no reason why we've had our government asleep at the wheel to go ahead and not actually address the situation, what's going on. Why can't they have flights out there if they see these things coming in from the ocean, a fleet, but basically like fleets coming in? Why can't we be out there over the ocean taking these things down before they're going over the land? Now, here's the thing. The only reason we wouldn't be taking them down is because our current government is in cahoots. Would you look at that, Mike? 13,000 subs. Our current government is in cahoots for what's going on, meaning it could be part of our government. There have been rumors out there potentially that these, if you want to call it, craft are out there sniffing for some nuclear material. They're afraid of something that could be going on. They've seen these things going over even Trump's golf course in the area. So there's just a lot of concern of what it could be. But if there was a major operation, clearly there's no answer, there's no information, there's no preparedness for the public, and they're putting everyone in fear, including people in the local police force. Because as we reported on it last night, the commandant of New Jersey State Patrol, he's the head of the State Patrol, called off a helicopter that was flying about 6 feet above one of these large drones that were up there, and he called them back and didn't have them follow because they felt afraid. How is it that our police aren't handling this, and they're afraid and turning tail, Mike. That seems like a disgrace.
It is a disgrace, and it's something that if I was still active duty and working, it wouldn't happen on my watch. And even if there were orders to stand down, I guarantee you I would have accidental weapon discharges multiplying multiple times going on in the direction of these objects.
Oh, gosh,
But let me explain something else. Right now, the issue is you just showed in the video that these objects are over Queens, New York City, and over LaGuardia Airport. Well, there are 3 major international airports in the New York City area: LaGuardia, John F. Kennedy Airport, and Newark International. There is so many flights coming from all around the world into this transportation hub, and you have these objects that are not under our control in those air flight areas. That's a flight safety hazard.
Yeah, Mike. Well, in our typical fashion, we have another UFOs alert that came in, and I've got a video up of. Let me see where this one is at now. Just now, reports of at least 10 large drones hovering over LGA. I'm not sure if I don't think I played this video clip yet. Let me go ahead and bring this one up and show it. This one's pretty interesting to say the least. Let me get this up here. Oh, the wrong one. Document 3. Let's get this one up. Mike, would love to hear your thoughts on this one. So there we go. There's a bunch of things flying in close proximity to each other. I'd have to say what we're looking at here isn't planes. That we're looking at something that's a bit more than that. Your thoughts?
Oh, I would agree. Listen, let me remind.
I stared at aircraft taking off from a flight deck of an aircraft carrier, and my job was recovering these aircraft and watching them land. I have never seen anything do that kind of shit before at night. This is weird.
Let me remind everybody, when we had the Miracle on the Hudson with Captain Sully Sullenberger, who had a bird strike and took down his aircraft. We have these objects now, and he flew out of LaGuardia, LGA. We have them running with impunity over an area like that. It could create another flight safety hazard or down a commercial aircraft, potentially. This is about as serious as it gets. Meanwhile, our government and nobody that's in charge of local government or law enforcement is taking precautions or actions to prevent this. And at this point, it would warrant shooting these objects down. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
And if they did that, they would then be able to determine what the propulsion is, what the radio frequencies are that are being used, what payload may be on board. They should bring these things down. I have no idea why they're not at this point.
And if the president would want to go ahead and bring these things down and sign an executive order enabling the military to bring these things down, we could do that instantly. But again, we're dealing with a fear factor here rather than this is our homeland, this is the United States of America. We need to maintain the sanctity of what's going on over our country. But clearly, they're not worrying about the southern border. Clearly, they're not worrying about the eastern border as well, Mike.
That's true, Thomas, but I have a question for you. If one of these objects ends up taking down a commercial flight and lives are lost, do you really think that the government at that point will be able to continue not responding to this? Mm-hmm. How could they?
Yeah.
Well, if they did, then we have a much bigger problem at that point with the government than we do with these objects.
Hey, Mike, we have another break coming in right now. WABC radio was reporting drones over the airport.
Well, that's a serious issue, and this could result in what I just explained. We could have a collision with one of our commercial air flights with these objects operating with impunity. No one's controlling them.
No.
We don't have control over it. And if it turns out that human lives are lost and the government says we don't know what it is, that's not going to be acceptable by the public, not by anybody.
Oh, heck no. It just shows, putting your head in the sand like an ostrich and not paying attention to it, not doing what we need to get done to go ahead and protect our homeland again. Think of how big we have a military budget that's almost $1 trillion, yet we can't even defend our eastern seaboard.
We cannot defend our international airports. We cannot defend over our homes. These objects are everywhere. We keep putting up all these video clips of these objects. And like that mayor had said, can you imagine if one of them comes down into somebody's house? It's not a small object. It's going to take human lives. And no one is doing a damn thing to try to protect us. I don't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And it's going to, if this continues, and it looks like it will, something is going to happen that's going to be catastrophic at one point.
This coming in from one of the people we follow on Twitter on a regular basis, Mike, UAP James. You're familiar with UAP James, aren't you?
I'm very familiar with him, yes.
Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and bring this one up. This is interesting as heck. Another firsthand observation coming on this on Monday. Granted, we're on, well, earlier this week, I called Representative Brian Fitt's office reporting seeing 100-plus drones fly directly over my home in our neighborhood for 7 hours Sunday night in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We're looking at 7 machines of unknown origin in the skies at this very moment, like right now, as I type this. So Sunday, he had over 100, or on Monday, and here now he's got at least 7 over his home right now at this point in time, and the night is young because these things are going late until the night, Mike.
And some people have been reporting that these things are operating into daylight, Thomas.
Yeah.
So they seem to be going on. We're being overrun. This is an invasion. This is a crisis by an unknown entity that is running rampant, and there's not a damn thing that our government is willing to do to protect us.
Yeah.
It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. This is going to result, I'm telling you, unfortunately, in some lives being lost at one point if they don't do something to counteract this. They have to.
I certainly hope not, Mike, because you know what? This whole situation is making our government a laughing stock of the international audience for the main matter. How is it that, you know, again, we can have a drone that flies over Area 51 shot down in 30 seconds to a minute, but the ones on the East Coast are going for weeks on end? You know, there's got to be something that they know that they're not telling us about. It just smells really frickin' dirty right now, Mike.
It does. And they're covering this up. The fact that Admiral Kirby had made those statements is not only laughable, it's insulting. And if this is the position of our government and lives eventually will be lost as a result of this, there's going to be hell to pay. I guarantee it. And this is something that is ongoing as we speak. And no one is challenging these objects. They seem to be going and doing whatever the hell they want, and they're not being stopped in any way. And
they're not being impeded at the slightest, Mike, and that's the major concern that we're dealing with right now. They've got the control over our skies, and I tell you what, if there are truly UAP going over the airport right now, that means flights are going to be completely delayed, isn't it?
They'll have to. They'll have to delay. They'll have to shut down. They've done that before.
Someone just in the chat said there's a 4-hour delay at LaGuardia right now for all flights.
There has to be. Thomas is right. They have to do that, Babe, because if they put these flights up with these unknown, uncontrolled objects, there's going to be a collision. That's going to happen.
It's too much of a threat. It's too much of a threat.
Well, I mean, can you imagine if the FAA allowed them to continue with flights, they would be held accountable if something catastrophic happened. So they have to shut it down temporarily.
Yeah.
In 2006, 2007, on board my aircraft carrier, while on the flight deck, we left aircraft in the air when we noticed a UFO. We stopped flight operations, left 2 aircraft. They went to another point for fuel and then went someplace else, and we turned around and ran away. So they have to stop. The aviation
running
flights.
away with our tail between our legs. No, if I can, I promise I bring up this next clip we're going to be showing here, talking about UFOs over Oregon. We have pilots who are instructed to maneuver as necessary to avoid the UFO out there. All altitudes up and down. It's pretty crazy. Let me go ahead and bring up this next piece. Let me get this one here. Let's play this audio clip. We've got it. Here we go. This has been constructed. It's shared by someone by the name of Kosher over on X. Let's play this clip and let's see where it takes us. Here we go, folks.
Activity out straight ahead of us. No, we're not seeing anything. I had another one report at like 30,000 feet in the Eugene area. We're not sure what it is.
Yeah, there's lots moving out there.
1596, yeah, they're looking into it.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets Yeah, they're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy. There was some at 30, probably. I mean, they're shooting way up. We say maybe up to the 50s, it looks like.
So that's a very interesting piece. We're talking about aircraft that are being seen at 30,000 feet and shooting rapidly up to 50,000 feet. That doesn't sound like a standard aircraft, does it, Mike? No, it doesn't. Let's continue on. Here we go.
Is there traffic actually out about our 2 to 3 o'clock, about, I don't know, 20, 30 miles?
No, is that the 4 different lights going up and down? I'm getting a few reports, but you're seeing it right in front of you now too as well?
It's 2 to 3 o'clock off, about 2 to 3 o'clock from our position. Looks about 20 miles going in circles.
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot. Yeah, we're not seeing anything. Getting lots of different reports out there. Some at 30, some all the way up to 50,000. About 3 or 4 different lights. Does it look like they're around your altitude now?
No, there's one way up high and one about my altitude. Moving in like a circle, like a corkscrew pattern. All right,
moving in a circle and a corkscrew pattern. Again, this does not sound like normal air traffic. Again, this is going on earlier this week over the city, over Oregon, and I believe we're listening to air traffic control coming out of Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Let's continue.
I'm visually have eyes on what looks like an aircraft strobe that's at my 2 o'clock and 22 miles at my altitude. I'm actually showing him on TCAS. Do you see that one?
Medevac 1 Lima Foxtrot. I do not.
He looks like he's moving towards, it looks like it's moving towards the north. Like I said, 22 and a half miles off my right wing. Just had another one show up about my 1 o'clock, about 1,000 feet high, zipping towards us and then back out towards the ocean. It's red in color.
So there appeared out of nowhere, zipping in towards this and zipping out away and heading towards the ocean. That does not sound like a regular traditional aircraft up there, folks. So as we've got the stuff going on the East Coast, on the West Coast, they're dealing with stuff that sounds more like non-human intelligence than on the East Coast. It sounds like we're dealing with adversaries. I guess when the mouse is away, actually, when the cat's away, the mice will play. Here we go.
Moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast he's moving. 661 on the clock. Roger.
Moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to explain it. That's about as honest as you can possibly get.
You are cleared to maneuver as necessary, left and right, to avoid the UFO out there. It's weird. It's a red.
There you go. Traffic control. Even saying, do whatever you need to do to maneuver around the UFO.
Circular shape. And it keeps zipping out towards the ocean and then coming back in about, 20 miles or closer to us. And then zips back out of the ocean and we can't see it.
There you go. Holy cow. So I know a lot of people are all rooting for, let's bring in the alien invasion. Well, maybe what we're seeing on the East Coast is not that. But if you set your eyes on the West, not too far from where I live, there is stuff going on. And we're going to keep our eyes peeled for more content along these ways. No, I believe I've got some pictures. No, that's not a picture. Here we go. We've got a picture from one of the people in the cockpit. It's not the best image to go ahead and take a look at, but it's better than nothing. Let me bring this one up. Here we go. We can see there's a shot going out over the horizon, and we've got the UFO potentially of what's going on right here at this point. So, yeah, there is some stuff. Now, they do have something here saying... Oh, there's from the plane itself, and they're pointing the arrow at this little dot here, and that's what the guys are seeing. They're seeing it moving, zipping out of the way, coming back and everything. You know, again, we're trying to deal with a cell phone camera, trying to record in a cockpit at night, but at least we've got something versus just what they're saying over the radio. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we have something that we didn't update our audience on, and that is with all this activity that we're covering. It seems that the head of the FBI resigned yesterday, and the head of the Federal Aviation Administration resigned today.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine that? This is shocking that not only is our government not dealing with this directly, but at the same time, they're running and turning with their tail between their legs. I just sent you the notice on DM. You can put it up to the audience.
Let's see if I can go ahead and find that here some way, Mike. Let me bring it back to here. Let me go ahead and bring that up here since I'm done with that. Fred, come on, Twitter, you can do it. Come on, you can.
So it seems that the government is not only not being proactive about this, the heads of these agencies are resigning and running for the hills.
So I got a picture here. Let's see if I can bring that up in another window so I can scroll through this. All right. Move this in, move it across. Yes, guys, it's me running the newsroom here. So if we're going to show something, we're going to be bringing it up. It's me. So let's bring it up here. Let's make it small, and then I'll make it so we can go ahead and read it. And a lot of our audience is on cell phones. Let's get rid of the fair use. All right, the head. Let me make this larger so we can all see this better. I recognize not all of our eyes are new and fresh anymore. Let's get this out to video full solo. Here we go on this one. Head of the Federal Aviation Administration to resign following Trump to pick a successor. The head of the FAA, who has led a tougher enforcement policy against Boeing since a panel blew off the Boeing jet in January, will step down next month to let President-elect Donald Trump name his choice to lead the agency. Interesting. We're getting one agency after the another, Mike, going and getting ready to step down. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. Granted, there's usually a change that goes on with every administration, just like we're getting rid of Bill Nelson, the head of Amway, the head of NASA, is going to be chased out, my friend.
Exactly. And this is the first time, and we're being overrun by unknown objects, and the heads of these agencies are disappearing into the wind. And it shouldn't be shock or surprise if at this point that we're not seeing a proactive response. If these heads of these agencies are leaving and not dealing with it, then that's part of the reason I would assume why our government is not responding.
Yeah,
potentially, right?
Now, if I can, Mike, I know we brought it up before, but I'm going to say it anyway. All right, folks, if you're having a good time, you're enjoying the podcast tonight, the reason I have this counter up here is to ask you, please go ahead, like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. We are on a roll. We just hit 13,000 after a day or so. We're going to hit 14,000 maybe during the show. If you haven't subscribed yet, you like what we're doing here and the work we put towards this podcast, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here as a regular on Disclosure tonight. More importantly, if you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, please take this moment to go ahead and do so. You know, we've got almost 5,200 people watching the show right now, and only 1,824 likes, which is really good. But what are we doing wrong, folks? Please, we'd love to have you as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. All right, let's go ahead and mute that person for a second. And now, Mike, we do have some people with their hands up here. Let's get the Cosmo thing first. Go ahead, Cosmo.
Yeah, got a question for Mike. Considering you worked in law enforcement, Mike, I was wondering if a call to action would be necessary for all these mayors to issue like squad units to cover perimeters of towns and use thermal imagery and live body cam footage. What would you think about that recommendation? That way we could cover, towns with active police.
Well, here's the thing about law enforcement that the public is not always aware of. It has to do with budgetary concerns. And if you're talking about smaller towns in New Jersey, unlike New York City, and even in New York City, there are budgetary restrictions to organizing squads, utilizing equipment. And the equipment that you're talking about is a military nature. And that's usually for specialized units, details that has already been put into operation. To do something on the fly, like you're suggesting, with the amount of bureaucratic tape and bureaucracy in general, even in small towns, I don't think that they would be able to effectively put something like that together, nor be authorized or funded to do it.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I do have in a break, and I hate to do this. Seems the night that I keep on playing this little clip here. We have another UFOs alert coming in. I've got an audio clip coming in off of Reddit that actually has a conversation on a police scanner regarding the downed drone. Let's go ahead and play this for our audience here. Let me figure out where I'm at here for a second. First, let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
County 485, what was the exact call that this wasn't actually saw it crash or heard it crash? Per the caller, a drone fell out of the sky by the power lines behind their house. And then 10 more showed up. 20.
Whoa, wait a second.
Power lines
Holy shit.
A drone fell out of the sky by the power lines behind their house. And then 10 more showed up.
What the hell is that, Mike? That is beyond belief. So we've got a report coming in off a police scanner. A drone fell out of the sky, and then 10 more showed up around where that drone fell. That just sounds... That's
unusual.
Wild.
At least we got one. We got one. Yeah,
right. That's how I'd be looking at it. But then again, if they do any military recovery, Abe, you know they're not going to admit it to the public. They're going to cover this up. What was the location of those calls?
At this point, Mike and Tom, I don't even give a shit if they don't tell us. Fucking deal with it. I'm sorry to cuss, but just deal with it.
Yeah. Just so people understand and they can see it of what I was bringing up. Yes, let me go ahead and show this. This is not fake. This is something that's coming from a post. Where is the document? 3. Here we go on this one. There's a clip showing from the different police dispatches and everything going on, and this is where they're saying yes.
A drone fell out of the sky by the power lines behind their house. And then 10 more showed up.
There we go. Interesting. Now, you know, the night is evolving. Who would have thought so many things are going on this evening, Mike? This is just blowing my mind.
Because we're currently dealing with a crisis and some form of invasion with these objects. So there's going to be a lot to cover on a minute-by-minute basis. What's interesting is it was affected, it seemed like, by the power lines, which makes sense. So whatever technology they're using seems to have been impacted by those high power lines that brought one of these objects down. But what's unusual about that is, why would there be 10 objects responding? What would they be able to do about the downed object? Nothing that I'm aware of.
I have no idea.
It doesn't make sense. It's almost like some form of intelligence, isn't it?
But Mike, isn't that like an officer down call, or like us in the military responding to one of us getting hurt in like enemy activity? That's what I see. If you've got your buddies pulling up and you just went down, that I just see backup reinforcements coming because you're in distress.
Well, Abe, yeah, I under normal circumstances, I would absolutely agree with that. But if you're talking about human beings putting out a call for distress, that's one thing. These objects are supposedly, allegedly animated and mechanical. How is it that they would be able to utilize coming together to do what exactly?
Yeah.
How would they recover that? That was my point.
Yeah.
That's what's so odd about this. Right, Thomas?
Yeah, absolutely. And for people in the audience who are saying, please post links right now, I am like doing everything here, juggling a dozen invisible eggs. If you want to go ahead and find some of this stuff, go on and check out. There's a group on Reddit called NJ Drones for New Jersey Drones. It's worth checking out there. So we're getting a bunch of information also coming off of our Twitter feeds, my friends. So there's a lot of stuff happening. We're just trying to react in real time as best as we can.
Yeah, we're covering the news as it breaks live here on the show in real time.
Oh, that's what it's about, my friend. All right, let's see if I know. I don't want to play that one. That one's...
And while you're looking through videos, we still have a lot of hands up.
All right, let's go to Andy W. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, hi, Thomas. I'm going to have to make this quick because I've got to run back off my break. Couple of points, and I had a question that you basically answered. Point with the police helicopter. Now, here in the UK, I know our police helicopters have thermal imaging and pretty powerful spotlights. Now, I'm guessing American police helicopters have the same. You know,
well, here in New York, we have forward-looking infrared.
Andy.
Yeah, so
FLIR,
okay, you
yeah.
got forward infrared looking red. Yeah, you got FLIR. So why did they stand this helicopter down? They could have stood it back and observed it from a distance. That's one point. Abe was right that the UK has now miniaturized the Dragonfire system, which is a laser system that fries out drones. That it can actually fit on a Wolfhound armored vehicle. So we over here have the opportunity to without firing, bullets, bring objects down. And also, the question was, is at the moment we've had issues in the UK with these incursions. We've also, right as you're showing in the last few nights, that there's so many appearances of them on the East Coast. I was going to ask, is there anything been seen on the West Coast or inland USA? You kind of answered that question earlier. But
there have been some sightings that have happened down in Florida, but it's from one isolated case that's down there, and it's hard to tell specifically what we're looking at. So rather than getting into all these different sightings that are happening within the United States, we're trying to focus on the broad brushstrokes of these issues that are happening. Like we've got something reported with pilots in the air dealing with craft that are moving at unexplainable speeds.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Have a great show, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow night's show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate your question, my friend.
I like how they blocked my chat because I was acknowledging God. That's really sad. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
Josephina, I wasn't looking at any of the text that was. I was not looking at any of the text that was going on.
Whoa.
I was looking at all the different messages that were popping up, and I appreciate you coming on to the show. Have a nice evening. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. You have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Thanks. No, I wasn't blocking any messages because people were talking about God. I was blocking messages because they keep on popping up on the right side of the chat, and usually I turn them off during the show. So someone took that a little wrong. I apologize for that. I don't want to go ahead and take someone out because they've got a religious aspect to stuff. I'm just trying to keep the show running. So you know how that goes, Mike.
Absolutely.
It's one of those crazy days. My God, I'm juggling. Thank God I had those 2 double espressos before we started this thing. Wow, wow, wow. All right, I've got another video clip. This one's coming in from NBC News, covering this situation as it's going on. Let me go ahead and bring up this next clip, and I'll try and use that time to catch my breath. Here we go, folks. Let's play this next one.
Tonight in the skies above New Jersey, trying to get to the bottom of a mysterious wave of SUV-sized drone sightings that so far have proved impossible to identify or to stop.
The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark. It's not an airplane.
Reports of mysterious drones and lights in the sky are growing. From over the warships of the West Coast to nuclear sites across the West to Langley, Virginia, and most recently to Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey. The Pentagon says there is no evidence the drones are coming from a foreign adversary, but lawmakers on Capitol Hill are demanding answers from the FBI.
I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights.
Those who have sent drones up to give chase, like local sheriff's departments, say they've never been able to see where they come from or where they land. Mine Hill Mayor Sam Morris chased this one down in his car and thinks the military should consider shooting them down. He says 11 drones have flown over a military site in New Jersey recently.
Those drones should have been blown out of the sky. Why are we putting up with this?
And as more people start to look up at the night sky, the FBI is asking anyone with credible video to send them in for analysis.
It's 2024. Are you telling me in this day and age somebody can fly drones of this size, the size of a car if not bigger, and we have no idea who's doing it?
For now, yet another growing mystery in the sky. Gotti Schwartz, NBC News, Morristown, New Jersey.
You know, Mike, they bring up a good point. How is it, again, we've got craft that are going on in the sky, the size of SUVs. We've got 50, 60 of them every night, and we have no ability to figure out where they are, where they're coming from. Remind our audience, our military has the ability, has the technology, it's been deployed for many years to go ahead and detect an object from the surface of the ocean all the way out to beyond the moon, this size. So how is it that our government can't even figure out where these things are coming from, where they're going back to, when yet there are so many citizens out there recording them coming in from the ocean. It just doesn't make sense, Mike. It feels like a cover-up to me.
Oh, it absolutely is a cover-up, beyond a shadow of a doubt. They goddamn well know exactly what these objects, where they're coming from. We covered on the show already that the public had seen these objects coming in from the ocean, right, Thomas?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they know. If the public knows, then obviously the government knows.
Yes.
But they're not admitting that publicly to us. That's the problem.
Yes, absolutely. Coming to us from Sweden now, we have Ali Alvian with his hand up. Ali, go ahead. You have a question.
I just want to make you imagine if these drones were heading over Israeli airspace, what would happen with the Iron Dome? They will be on total alert.
They'd be shot down instantly. Good point.
Yeah, and I just wonder, where is all your mobile military units connected to your air defenses? You have missile units, you have your anti-aircraft gunnery, and all the radars that is attached to these systems. Why aren't they on highest alert in New Jersey? They started almost a month ago. And where's your Air Force? It's always hiding when it comes to this UAP drone issue.
Yeah.
The Air Force is gone.
Ali, you make excellent points at this point. Although you're coming to us from Sweden, you see what's going on in the United States, and you're asking the same question. And I think majority of our viewers from the U.S. are asking right now, and that's what people in the government are asking, and the federal government. We're talking senators and House representatives. We're also talking about local mayors and governors and everyone else in this audience. It's a joke in what's going on. More importantly, what our government isn't doing and the excuses they're making to support their failures.
Yeah, because what is obvious now, in your national air defenses, you have a hole bigger than Jupiter. If you cannot handle or identify or track these drones.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy. It really gets me puzzled.
Oh.
How is it organized?
It's a disaster, my friend. Clearly if we can point a finger at anybody, it'd be Lloyd Austin, who is the current the Secretary of Defense. He's a person who has to answer questions on this. Mayorkas, who's the head of the Department of Homeland Security, needs to answer questions on this. We need to figure out why this is not being addressed. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, Thomas, but do me a favor. Check your phone real quick, and I'll take the next question.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you, guys.
Go ahead, Nick.
Congratulations to all the viewers. You're great, Thomas. Fantastic show host.
Thank you, Ali. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. You're next.
All right, let's move on from Nick to Kenneth Anderson.
Kenneth.
Go ahead, Kenneth.
Go ahead, Kenneth.
Okay, I hope my microphone's loud enough.
We got you.
Okay, great. I'm seeing not just me, but a few other people thinking the same thing here, that there is attention trying to be drawn to the bad guys, which are dark, or they would be if they could get up in the sky. But I think they're being kept down because of all the attention in the sky. The bad guys being nation states that are like China, Iran, so on. Not only that, but our government is divided between good guys and bad guys. And I know it's not politically correct to say this, but notice the silence from Trump. Donald Trump's not questioning what's going on here. He's not worried at all.
Well, that's true. We haven't heard anything from him yet, but we've also heard from Sebastian Gorka, who's going to be heading up, I forget which department he's going to be heading up when he comes in, and he's already said he'd shoot these things down earlier this morning. So yes, people from the upcoming Trump administration have addressed this. We haven't heard it from President Trump yet, but we have heard it from Sebastian Gorka this morning.
Yeah, it's got to be kept hidden to a large extent. But I think the good guys are up there with all the lights, trying to draw attention to the skies and keep the bad guys from wandering around there.
I think the drones we're seeing are the bad guys, my friend, honestly. But, you know, time will tell. We'll see where this all goes.
I just want to get some attention to an opposing view from you, but thank you.
Tom. Yeah, I appreciate that, Kenneth, and thank you for your opinion. You know, there's a lot of different scenarios of what could this be coming from. It could be coming from the United States government. It could be coming for a litany of uses, from looking for radioactive or chemical weapons or who knows what. It could also be coming from our government going ahead and trying to get us set up by the deep state, who is intent on war. So it's just a matter of figuring out where exactly this is coming from. Rick Roberts, my friend, you have a question. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, last night we did a survey to see if people were thinking these were from China, Iran, or UFO. What do people still think? We'll do a poll.
Well, I will just make it. I'll make the good point. We haven't done a poll yet with as many people as we have there tonight. Let me go ahead and I will do this, Rick. Thank you for reminding me to do it again. Let me go ahead and bring it up, and I'm going to get this poll set up right now while you're sitting here waiting. I've got a bunch of videos I'm going to pull out of the way. Let me go ahead and bring this up for everybody to see as I'm putting this together. All right, so the poll is, let's just be honest.
UFO
over New Jersey are UFOs or they're humans. Simple enough. UFOs means they're aliens, or it's a drone, human based. Let's see where our audience takes this. We've got this drone up here. Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
And those who weren't here yesterday, it was interesting that the crowd said it was UFO based, NHI.
Okay, so we've got this coming up right here now. Let's see where our audience is taking this so far. We've got just 296 votes in already. So far, we're at 56% of our audience is saying that it's alien-based. 43%. It is saying that it's human-based. This is your opportunity to vote. People, I will go ahead and side with the audience no matter where this goes. So let me go ahead and find the sound effect that I usually play while we're doing this. Come on, vote. Let's see where this is going to go. With just 52 seconds left, would you look at that? We have 566 votes. That's a little over 10% of our audience. Let's see if we can get that up to at least 1,000 votes in the next 44 seconds, my friends. Still, we've got a lead going with 57% of our respondents saying it's alien-based and 43% it's saying human-based. You know, you never know where this is going to go. It could be one or the other. It's pretty close. We've got just 27 seconds left with 684 votes in already. And look at that. We got alien-based now down to 56% and human drone-based up to 43%. Yeah, it's jumping back and forth. It's almost a 50-50 split, but the aliens are leading the humans. How about that? With just 9 seconds left to go, friends. Let's get this down here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and end this poll. There we go, friends. The audience has spoken. Oh, it already scrolled off the screen. Let me get this up here again here really quick. Print screen. There, stop that. The audience has spoken. I'm running too fast with scissors. All right, the final numbers that we had. Drones over New Jersey. Our audience has spoken. They're saying 50... Okay, there we go. Make it a little bit larger. With 760 votes out of our audience. Oh, great. No, don't do that. Oh, let's try it one more time. I deleted the page. Okay, one more time. Let's do another print screen. Just do it this way. All right. Yeah, hit the old print screen button. I have it remapped for screenshots. Here we go. The final numbers one more time. 55% of our audience believe it's aliens. 44% believes it's humans. Interesting to say the least that the aliens have won out on this one. What do you think, Mike?
I believe that this is human-based, these drones. We covered just now, earlier, that the phenomenon was showing itself on the West Coast.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here on the East Coast, I believe, is prosaic in nature, not
Bingo.
phenomenon.
Yeah, the stuff on the West Coast, 100%. We've got stuff shooting in, shooting back out, going at speeds that are unexplainable, instantly going from 30,000 feet to 50,000 feet up. We've got the air traffic controllers telling the planes to go ahead and maneuver as necessary to get around these things. So, yeah, it's an interesting day to say the absolute least. Can you believe we've been going on for an hour and 45 minutes already? It feels like we just started. Wow.
Now, I just want to update for our audience real quick that crash retrieval police audio that we played, the location of that is Pequannock, New Jersey, which is northern Jersey. It's across from Yonkers, New York, in Westchester, New York State. So it's all of these activity in the drones were originating down south, the Jersey shore. Now we have a potential downed craft in North Jersey. So that's interesting as far as how one end of the state to the other, these craft seem to be operating.
Yeah, they're operating with impunity, Mike. That's the thing that's sad is our government's ability to go ahead and defend the homeland is so weak. And it really is.
It is. It absolutely is. I want to ask a question about this to a guest of ours that jumped in the back with us, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Welcome back. It's been a while. I wanted to ask you, as far as with these objects, if they were able to recover one of them, would they be able to determine if there's a frequency that they're operating on from a crash retrieval, in your opinion?
They wouldn't need a crash retrieval for that. You could do that yourself if you get a hack RF and some software. Yeah, you can, and an antenna. You can sweep all the different frequencies and scan for if these things are what these things are using and what they're operating on. And that's exactly what the military does when they send out their intel recon guys to try to figure out what these things are and how to shut them down. Now, if they're operating on some sort of quantum entanglement or advanced technology that we don't quite understand, then it might be not so easy to break that in with just conventional. You wouldn't be able to pick that up on like a hack RF or something. If it's more, if it's a more sophisticated technology for controlling these things. Again, there's a lot of technologies that the general public is just not aware of when it comes to all this stuff. So my first thought was this has got to be something related to, Lake Marabou or Kevin Cremeyer's patents and work on directed energy systems. They have torpedoes that are super cavitating and ICBMs that can go like Mach 8 and higher by supercavitating the air in front of the craft with these lasers. They have laser projection technology. They have, talking Pentagon plasma balls. And there's a huge number of drones on the American and Chinese and Russian markets. So this is a scary time to be alive.
Well, Jeremy, and for the audience, this is Jeremy Rees, the alien scientist, who has his own show on YouTube. With your scientific background, you've been following along with this as it's been ongoing. What's your take on it? What's your opinion about these objects?
Well, I think that I voted for human technology in the poll you guys just ran.
As did I. I'm with you.
Side here. I'm a minority if people were serious about their answers. I think that with invisibility technology and what aliens would have in their arsenal and on board their ships, if they can go warp and interstellar to get here from wherever they're coming from, I would guess they're coming from other stars rather than interdimensional. Even if they are traveling interdimensionally or warping space-time somehow, they originated or came from another star, planetary star system somewhere. Again, invisibility technology, though, if they're aliens and they want to be seen and they want to show themselves to us. If not, then it's something else playing cat and mouse with us, like we're just a cat with a laser pointer.
Yeah, but my question to you is this: if this is nuts and bolts technology, and it is something that we are being literally a crisis in this country right now, and we're being overrun they're operating with impunity. Going back to prosaic objects, based on your scientific background, what would you say would be how this is, where would you say they're coming from? What type of technology do you think they're using?
Well, I think it's a combination of technologies. They could have laser-induced plasma, these directed energy systems. They could have carbon nanotube skin coatings where they heat up and do mirage effect on the surface of the craft and can go and do invisibility type and mirage type effects. They have a lot of spoofing technology as well to spoof radar and make it look like you disappeared and reappeared in another place when it's really two separate objects or laser-induced plasmas. So there's a number of these technologies. I've interviewed scientists who worked on this stuff out at Area 51 or DARPA or NASA, and I've interviewed lots of different scientists on lots of different technologies. And I don't know. It could be a combination of all these, or any one.
Yeah.
Could I ask Jeremy a question?
1 second. If we can, I just want to go ahead and report on this real quick. We've got another UFO news alert coming in that some drones are being spotted over Connecticut suburbs at this point in time. It's the latest string of sightings perplexing locals and raising national security concerns. SRF, go ahead if you had a question for Jeremy.
Yeah, it's a quick question and comment that I think is being somewhat overlooked, which a lot of people touched on a little bit. And it's sort of a difficult subject, and it begins with Einstein's theory of relativity. And to be brief, this could be us from the future.
This technology is not like advanced technology from the future. We're looking at basically military-grade hardware.
That's what we're perceiving it as, but it is moving very fast and doing things we can't.
This stuff is not moving very fast. This stuff is moving 50 miles an hour at times, making very tight turns. So this isn't like moving thousands of miles an hour.
Some are.
We haven't had any reports of that yet, SRF, but interesting point.
And that would also explain why the government has no answers for us, because they don't know. And the technology is so far advanced
unless
that
it's
we
our government
cannot
doing something.
Perceive it.
Yeah.
Well, for science, the government goes to scientists for answers. And right now, science does not have proof that teleportation is real.
Well, time travel is what we're talking about, really.
Or time travel. So, yeah.
But in the future, it could be real, and it probably is real, I think. And that could be what's going on here.
I put my money on that.
Okay.
Hello.
I appreciate it.
Well, Jeffrey, you got to wait. Please put up your hand, and we'll let you talk in a minute. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and go to Johnny next. Johnny, go ahead.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is the guy from yesterday. I was talking to you guys, the pilot. I would side on the idea that this is most like the drones, the stuff we're seeing on the East Coast is something nefarious, whether it's other countries or our own. We've seen in the past our government talking about the testing of our infrastructure, whether it's telecommunications, water systems. This could very likely be another country doing the same, testing our airspace with drones. Obviously, an aircraft coming into an airspace is very obvious, something that we could intercept with military aircraft. But drones is a lot harder to track, a lot harder to intercept, smaller. I haven't seen, like some people are saying, clear evidence of these drones being car-sized. There's, the footage out there is not very good. I don't know if anybody has seen that, if anybody has any links to that, because I haven't seen it. But I'm getting the feeling that this is something of that nature, a testing the airspace.
Yeah, we've got a lot of feedback. There's been a lot of reports out there that they're not car sized or actually SUV sized.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a big thing. It's a car. It's large. I haven't, there's not, I'm very skeptical. I haven't seen any videos that would depict that. And it's kind of hard to tell at night.
Come here.
It's kind of hard to tell at night the size of these drones. The other thing too is that would throw me off of the.
Oh, sorry about that, Johnny. I accidentally muted you. You need to unmute yourself. I was muting a bunch of people.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That's cool. Is the fact that they're using these, these look like typical drones with the nav lights and everything. Now on the West Coast, where you reported that the pilot seeing things moving at fast speeds, I'm also very skeptical about some of that stuff. If you saw something, I'm taking the guy's word where he saw it doing corkscrew maneuver. If I saw that, there's no way to explain that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff,
and by the way, Johnny, there's actually 2 different pilots who went and verified that from 2 different planes. So it's not just one plane. There's actually 2.
No, yeah, it's 2 aircraft. So that's something there's no way that I would be able to explain that. That sounds like they actually saw something.
Oh gosh,
but what you do hear a lot, and if you ever have the chance to sit in the cockpit of an airplane and you hear a lot of pilots, we chatter on different frequencies, and guys will say, hey, we're looking at this thing moving across the sky. Does anybody see it going east to west, north to south? And there are a lot of satellites that ever since Starlink started going up, and I've seen launches from the cockpit. They look extremely strange. You'll see as Starlink is deployed, a row of satellites, and you've seen this from the ground. People have recorded this, and they, as the satellites move and they separate, get into orbit, it looks very strange. But you never really see any of these satellites zigzag. So that one account where those 2 pilots saw, that's very strange. But it's very hard, and I would love to question these guys how they came up with their figures saying it's 20 miles off of their wing or at
there were some ex-military people who did see it, and early on in this they were actually giving their estimates based on their experience in the military and sighting aircraft. So there have been people.
I'd caution that these people, I know they're military pilots, but they're human beings, and it is extremely difficult to judge distances.
Of course, yes.
Airliners don't have the ability to pick up other aircraft on radar. We interrogate other aircraft with our transponders,
of course,
so we can see altitude.
It's a transponder system, yes.
Yeah, so it's extremely difficult to judge.
But there are some planes that do have their own localized radar as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of military aircraft do that. I'm not aware of airline transport.
The most recent Boeing 737s and Airbus planes do have that as part of their onboard system, so they can see
I fly the
what's
Airbus,
going on around them.
We do not have primary radar. We have radar that will pick up weather, but it will not pick up aircraft targets.
Gotcha. So it's actually filtered then.
It's not. It doesn't pick up. You will not pick up like a primary target. What they call primary target, where the radar bounces off the object and you get a primary target without any information like altitude or speed.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I just caution people. There's great stories where like that person sees like a corkscrew maneuver or something that I can't argue against that. But other things, it's very difficult, and I'd caution people. I'm a little bit skeptical. I want real good evidence before I'm out here saying that it's a UFO or something like that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, to give myself a break and get something up going here, we have Chris Cuomo last night, who was on with Christopher Mellon and Representative Anna Polina Luna and Ryan Graves talking about the situation from a very interesting perspective. Let me go ahead and bring up this next video clip, and let's play it, folks. Here we go.
We have Representative Anna Polina Luna. She is on the House Oversight Committee, which held hearings on UFOs and UAPs, and to be honest, one of the few who took this seriously early. We have Christopher Mellon, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, who specializes in unidentified flying objects, and Ryan Graves, former Navy pilot turned UFO whistleblower. Thank you to each and all. And just quickly, does anybody believe that I have it wrong and that this is some great mystery that nobody knows any of the answers to? All right, good. I'll start with you, Representative. How do you explain how you keep hearing that there are divisions of government that are involved in different types of undertakings, but they can't come clean, even with members of Congress, even with a special subcommittee, about what is in the air over New Jersey and elsewhere?
Look, it's unacceptable, and for them to undermine Representative Andrews' credibility in saying that he's talking to people that he does believe that these are drones from other nefarious foreign actors. I mean, it just goes to show, obviously they're checked out before the holidays and they know that they're leaving office, and so I believe that they're not really interested in finding out what's happening, and it's the unfortunate truth of what happens in Washington, especially when there's a new incoming administration. But to be clear, what we're seeing seeing right now happening, not just in the drone sphere, but I think on the topic of UAPs, is you're right, there has been a change in technology, and also with the fact that people can now record, you have devices, they can't really hide it anymore. So I think the Pentagon and the government as a whole is looking at how to address this to the American people, but there's no doubt in my mind that Representative Andrew was telling the truth. It's very likely that these are drones from foreign adversary, and if you don't believe that the U.S. government would cover something up, just look at how they responded with the Chinese spy balloon.
No, that's a good point.
And those dogs barking are coming from Representative Anna Polina's house, I believe.
And look, you know this. You're in Florida. Mellon knows this. Graves knows this. A lot of these drones, like the ones we're showing right now, you see navigation lights on them. You see a red and a green. You know this from.
But the way I have to bring up really quick and just butt in really quick, these aren't normal navigation lights. Usually we'll have a red that's constant on one wing, a green that's constant on the other, and then you'll have other lights that flash white on either side. These are actually, the green light and red light actually go to flash white in addition to the white LEDs being on the side. So whatever we're dealing with, while it looks like it's official FAA lighting, it's not. Let me continue on.
Boating and down, so they have the same things. Aircraft are the same thing that boats do. They have a red and a green. So it's not like they're from some outer atmosphere. Let me start with you, Mr. Mellon. Do you believe that there are more and that it's understood and explainable?
I believe there are more. I think it's important for people to understand that this has been going on since at least 2017. Which is to say these smaller, brightly lit, drone-like vehicles violating restricted U.S. military airspace in sensitive areas around nuclear power facilities, nuclear weapons storage facilities. A year ago today, roughly, Langley Air Force Base was taken offline by drones. And that continued that was exactly a year ago this month. And that was about a year after there was a similar sort of pattern in the western United States for several months near some of our ICBM fields. So it's troubling that after all this time, we still haven't captured any of these things. We still haven't brought them down.
Do we know that?
Where they're coming from. We are really in a position of ignorance here, and hopefully this will maybe at long last, after all these prior events and the Chinese balloon, get some people to take a hard look at what do we need to do to get our hands on one of these things so we can get to the bottom of this.
Right. I mean, look, Chris, you know better than I do, but I don't know that they haven't gotten any of them. I would read it another way, just as somebody who's been in the business of deception detection for 25 years, that, that calmness of them being not concerned about it is usually a function of having information. And Ryan, you and I have talked many times about how many stories you've heard about what they did take down or what they found on the ground, and programs that use a lot of money to use special operators to go and recover these things. But SUV-sized drones, I can't find those on the commercial market. I've been looking for days. How do you explain that part? You think people just get the size wrong, Ryan?
Well, there always is some uncertainty when it comes to judging a moving object in the sky, especially at night and especially as a single source of light. But these things appear to be close enough to the ground where I think I have pretty high confidence in the size predictions that they're estimating, give or take 20%. But, these sizes and these types of behaviors are something that we've seen and we've talked about, Chris, over the years, starting at Virginia Beach, working its way further north into the Langley area, and perhaps now into New Jersey. I don't think we can conclusively say that they're inherently linked necessarily, but with the mixed messages that we're getting between the legislative branch and between the executive branch, it really feels like the Biden administration is gaslighting us on the seriousness of this issue.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to join and...
Yeah, so I think that's a good point that Ryan was making. It definitely sounds like, Mike, that we are being gaslit by the Biden administration, especially from John Kirby, as he talked about at the start of this show.
Yeah, that actually backs up what Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying earlier as well. The Biden administration doesn't seem to be dealing with this proactively, not giving the public straight answers, or even some of the local elected officials or members of Congress. They're keeping everybody in the dark, and it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense as far as what is it that they're covering up. It really, they know about these objects. They're trying to tell us that we're imagining what we're seeing, like Admiral Kirby just did. He said earlier that I don't see what they're trying to accomplish. That's what I'm struggling with, to be honest with you. I don't know what the goal is of the current administration. I don't know why they would go out of their way to, for lack of a better word, panic the public. If they're not going to give us information, then what do you think is going to happen with these constant invasion and crisis that we're dealing with right now with all of these objects? They seem to be everywhere all the time, and we're not getting any information. People are afraid, and they have a good right to be, and the government is covering this up. I don't know what the government has to gain by covering this up. This is the part that is frustrating, to say the least.
Oh, it's very frustrating to say the least. I'm trying to find that video clip that I played earlier today with Admiral Kirby going ahead and talking about this. No, I know I've got it here somewhere. Let me see if I can find this.
Can I ask a quick question to Mike?
Go ahead, Huskers, please do.
Huskers.
So, Mike, my question is, do you think it's possible that this is really a psyop? That them being able to say, well, we don't know what these are, but look, nothing really bad is happening, leading to the fact that when things really do happen that are not by our control, then they can, hey, maybe the public's not going to freak the fuck out.
Are you talking about a social experiment being conducted by the government?
They would never do that.
No, hell no. No, absolutely not.
No.
Because people potentially tend to get hurt, and the stakes are too high.
If anything, Mike, this would be a psyop by our government to try and get us into war with China or Iran. It is a very high likeliness.
Well, I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to add to a lot of the Arrow's reports that, hey, all these objects are happening, and but they're all prosaic, right? They're just drones.
Yeah, that's true, my friend. Absolutely. And if I can, I know we got a bunch more hands up. I want to, for the people who have joined the show a little bit later after the beginning, we've had, a lot of people we've had 47,000 people watching the show already, Mike. Let me get into this. I want to go ahead and play this clip again. We played at the start, where is a statement from the White House earlier today from John Kirby, who's one of the military spokespersons on the executive branch. Let me go ahead and bring this one up. Here we go, folks. It's an amazing amount of bullshit he's going to say, but we need to hear it anyway.
Now, finally, I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin.
Just one thing here really quick. I do have the number of subscribers up. If you haven't subscribed to Disclosure tonight, please take this opportunity to give a subscribe and also a like if you're having a good time. Here we go, folks.
Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
Which they're not. So this is just the bullshit that flows from our executive branch.
The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign-based involvement from coastal vessels.
Now, there was a Coast Guard cutter that actually was being followed by 5 or 6 of these drones yesterday, and they had the firepower to shoot it down over the water, but yet they did nothing.
And importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace. Now, that said, we certainly take seriously the threat that can be posed by unmanned aircraft systems, which is why law enforcement and other agencies continue to support New Jersey and investigate the reports, even though they have uncovered no malicious activity or intent at this particular stage. While there is no known malicious activity occurring, the reported sightings there do, however, highlight a gap in authorities. And so we urge Congress to pass important legislation that will extend and expand existing counter-drone authorities so that we are better prepared to identify and mitigate any potential threats to airports or other critical infrastructure, and so that state and local authorities are provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well.
John, on the drones, does the U.S. government have any of its own imagery or video of these systems?
I'm not aware that we have U.S. government produced imagery ourselves, but as I said in my opening statement, we have certainly done thorough analysis of the.
I got to bring this up, Mike. How is it that they can't have any official footage available to the White House to go ahead and actually show what's going on? You know, this really shows that the military is asleep behind the wheel. Either that, or like the rest of what he was saying, it's just a bunch of lies.
They're covering it up. How could they not know, Thomas? We've been repeatedly saying that every night on the show.
Yep.
Of course they know. The public knows. The public is taking photos of these objects coming in off the ocean. How does the government not know that? Of course they do. He's completely full of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me continue on.
Existing imagery.
Like from people's cell phones that we're seeing? Basically, with what you're looking at, how can you credibly tell people that there is no public safety threat, there's no national security threat, that there's no reason to believe that a foreign government is involved?
Because the analysis thus far in an investigation that is ongoing has not revealed any national security or malicious intent or criminal activity. But, Jackie, I would remind you, we're at the beginning here, not the end. There's a lot more work to be done, and we're working
It's not the beginning. Again, this has been going on for almost a month, so where has he been?
Exactly. Plus, I think we have a clip to show that he's a stand-up philosopher, right?
Oh, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Let's continue.
Information. I would argue that we're moving pretty well here with a sense of energy to try to figure out what we can do to learn more about this. We're still in the middle of an ongoing investigation, and I'm up here explaining to you and let you know what we know so far, what we believe so far. If information comes to light that changes that characterization, then my goodness, we'll be the first ones to let you know. But right now, there's just no indication that this is some sort of foreign malign activity or, in fact, even criminal.
Well, what I don't understand is, this has been happening since late November. I don't know that the law enforcement officials or residents in New York and New Jersey, or even the Democratic senators who wrote to Director Ray Mayorkas and the FAA administrator today would think that this has been handled with a sense of urgency. But that being said, has the President or the Secretary of Defense issued any guidance to NORTHCOM or military installations to act on these systems if they're deemed to be a threat in any way? And what's the benchmark for that determination?
So two thoughts. First of all, you're right, late November. It is now, the 12th of December. So I think it shows that we're moving on with this, and we're going to stay on it. So I want to disabuse you of any notion that we're not taking this seriously, because we are. I can also tell you that if the President, as Commander-in-Chief, believed, based on the information that he'd been given, that there was a national security threat at play here, or even a public safety threat at play here, he would issue the appropriate directives to...
Okay, public safety threat. These things have been seen hovering over the reservoirs for the drinking water, over multiple ones in the tri-state area. Mike, wouldn't you think that's a public safety threat?
Blocking emergency medical transport helicopters, that is a threat to personal and public safety. Hovering over military bases that involve weapon systems that are restricted, that's a national security threat. I don't know what the hell the good admiral is referring to when he's saying there was no threats.
How about tonight we had drones over the airport tonight at LaGuardia?
Correct. So that's a lie, and obviously he's a stand-up philosopher, right, Thomas?
Oh, yeah, I'll play that sound effects. Oh, yeah, God, where did that go? There's so many things going on here. Wrong window, it's purple. All right, here we go.
Oh, a bullshit artist.
Oh, there we go. Exactly
That's
what
the
he
one.
is, yes. Absolutely. Let's play. Go ahead.
When I was, hold on, when I was saying earlier that we know the government knows, Jeremy feels that he can prove that the government knows this. Jeremy, would you care to explain how you have the receipts on this?
Yeah, so let's talk about a couple different things that people can look up. One is the MPUAV Cormorant, and that is a craft that Lockheed Martin Skunk Works developed in 2008. which is almost 20 years ago now. And this was a craft that would launch from submarine. So it's transmedium. It comes out of the ocean, flies, goes and does its drone mission, goes back into the water, and then redocks with the submarine. So we're talking about transmedium craft that we've had in production and building and testing for at least 20 years now. Yeah. Just imagine where we are right now in terms of capability in the secret world that you have no idea about. There's a company right here in Rhode Island called Electric Boat, and I know that they do some pretty advanced and interesting stuff. They have some pretty advanced craft that can do things in and out of the water. They have lots of companies that lots of people don't know about, that you don't hear about, not the big contractors, working on all kinds of stuff, man. There's billions of dollars in this. And you just think about back in the 40s and 50s when people used to throw a pie tin into the air and take a photograph of that to fake UFOs. Imagine what these drone hobbyists are doing with what they can build in their garage with a couple $1,000.
Right, but these things probably cost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece, and potentially we could have a vessel sitting off of the coast of the east coast of the United States with its transponder off, sitting dark, that these drones are coming from and going back to every night. And, 50 to 60 craft, that's got to be one heck of an operation. A lot of people to get these craft up and ready, to get them deployed, and then to bring them back in and service them and get them ready to turn around for the next night. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sharky Markey, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, sorry. I really can't believe that you guys are one of the only people that I see on YouTube covering this live right now. This has been happening for over a month.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering if there's any standout orders from these local police, these local police stations or whatnot, or anybody. What about the New Jersey State Police? Why aren't they doing anything? This is just one of the most crazy stories I've ever heard of.
When the New Jersey State Police, Sharky Markey, was out there last night and they were chasing after one of these helicopters, why did they pull off? And why didn't they follow it around and see where it was going back to? It just doesn't make sense.
It certainly seems like someone, including all of the state police especially, have gotten a stand-down order of some sort. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what they've been told. It seems really suspicious that this is going on. And I just, like I said, after this has been going on for a month, I cannot believe the coverage of the story and how it's been hidden, how people, yes, people are taking pictures and posting them, but there's no live video feeds anywhere that I can see out of New Jersey. Anywhere. I
believe there was one on Kick earlier tonight, but where are all the observers, all the people with their high-end equipment coming out and actually trying to record it? It's vacant. It just doesn't make sense. Now, Sharky, we've been covering this since November 18th, since the story first broke. And as it's been escalating?
It's unbelievable. I'm a little bit behind on this story. I'm still trying to catch up, and I'm still trying to get all the stories. There's a lot of stories that I've missed, I'm sure, over the last month. So I'm trying to do my due diligence myself, but I cannot believe this after we live in such a social media driven world, YouTube live coverage of important stories that I don't see the coverage.
Now, there is a Facebook group out there. I don't have the address, although I should share it with you right now, that's covering it. And there is also coverage coming from NJ Drones on Reddit. And there's tons of stuff on Twitter. It's just there's a whole bunch of different places people can go ahead and look to find the truth of what's happening. So we're trying to get all that data.
One last thing. I usually see these stories that after a month would kind of, they would, navigate to the mainstream, even though the mainstream is ridiculous, obviously, as we know, but with their coverage. But I mean, it's just, it's a huge question mark for me.
Yeah. I agree with it, and I'm glad, honestly, it's sad that there aren't more people covering it, but I'm glad there's a lot of people turning to us to go ahead and bring out the truth. Have you found our podcast informative?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a great show tonight. I subscribe. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
I really
much.
appreciate the
that.
coverage.
Yeah, we're going to keep our thumb on the pulse of this to see what's going on. We have 3 last people with their hands up. Jeffrey, go ahead. Three.
The mute button is on, Jeffrey.
Still, it's on. 3, 2, 1. Let's move on to Syrup. Go ahead, Syrup.
Yeah, I had a question for Jeremy because I know he's big on the Black Project stuff, man.
He is.
Okay, so my question is this: we're having this drone incursion, right? Is this an example of us being technologically leapfrogged, or is this more of someone like China being bullies, and what we have locked away in our Black Projects can do everything and anything these drones can do, but we're just not bullies?
First off, all the drones that we're making here, where do we buy our electronic components? Where are all the MOSFETs and all the semiconductors made?
China,
Asia, yeah,
okay.
Taiwan.
So they have a one-up on us on all this tech, and if with what's going on right now in Trump, starting this tariff war and all the things he said about China in the speech, I think it was either today or yesterday. China is, we have this national debt, and we basically like getting all this cheap stuff from China and racking up our debt, and eventually China is going to come and collect on that. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think we're ready for a war with China. And
No.
I just think people need to be much more, I think China's letting us know that we're not ready for a war with China.
If anything, if I may add to that, Jeremy, if I could add to this really quick, sir, I think we're at a situation where whatever's going on the East Coast, it has exposed a massive hole in our country's national defense, and that's what they're exploiting.
So we've been leapfrogged.
Well, I guess
I don't know if it's, like Jeremy said, I don't know if we're leapfrogged because they're ahead of the curve anyway. They do the manufacturing for these technology, for the drones, like Jeremy said. But I think, like Thomas is pointing out, what they're doing is whoever is behind this is obviously exposing how any foreign adversary with a technology like this can basically run with impunity anywhere they want in this country. And there isn't a damn thing we're going to do to stop them. Right, Thomas?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. We're in a situation where clearly we've been caught with our pants down, and no matter what we're going to try and do, it's going to take a while for us to be able to plug these holes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, I have a quick question for Jeremy, real quick. We covered earlier that one of these drones potentially went down in North Jersey. And as a result of that, when it was in close proximity to a high-powered power line, it went down. And then 10 other objects came in that area that it went down. If these are automated, or how is it, if it's not a manned craft, why would 10 other objects come to the location of the one that potentially went down? What could they do in that case, in your opinion? Jeremy.
Well,
yeah, again, I can't ascribe intent to that. I don't know enough about the case or the situation to really say that what the intent was in that. That is curious that 9 of them would show up if that's what happened. And yeah, that seems like
it's odd, right? Very unusual.
It's unusual, although doesn't mean necessarily these things have human pilots. They're
could be AI.
It could
operating?
be. It also could be you don't want anyone capturing your technology, so you have recovery to go. The drones will go and pick up the down one so that it doesn't get captured, so that we don't pull this thing apart and be like, hey, look, they're using all this technology that we have that's classified that we pretend we don't know anything about, but they really do. Yes.
Now, just like we have technology for exploring our Van Allen belt, we have a bunch of satellites up there. They're moving around. They're acting as in a swarm configuration. And what we're hearing potentially, if one went down, other ones swarmed in, they could potentially pick something up and haul it away if they needed to.
I'm sure with the drones and the capability, there's they can lift stuff, and especially ones in coordination, they work together to lift things. I mean, this is not anything.
Makes sense. No, actually, that makes perfect sense. That might possibly be what they're doing and what's going on in that location in North Jersey.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you much. If we can go to Justin M for the last question of the night. Justin, go ahead.
Hey, so I just wanted to say to you, Tom and Mike, my daughter and I, we've been watching you guys for the past 4 days. You're the best news roundup on this situation on YouTube, without question. It's fantastic. I'm super stoked. I really enjoy the show. And then my last comment, I guess, is I still really think that this is U.S. made tech. Like maybe it's Lockheed Martin or Skunk Works or whatever. They're testing it. They just don't seem scared of it. And you'd think that the government would show some sort of urgency if it was dangerous,
Yeah.
And that's all I've got, guys. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate that, Justin. Thanks for the feedback and everything. Mike, what a great show tonight. Holy cow. A lot of news alerts coming in during the broadcast. A lot of stuff happening live. Starting off with the videos and images we had of a fleet coming in off the ocean. And it's been one crazy thing after the other tonight, Mike. Wow. It's been a great show.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Plus with the developments we've been covering in real time here on the show tonight. Yeah, it's one hell of a day today, Thomas. And we're going to be back tomorrow covering it in real time as well.
Oh,
for
absolutely,
everybody.
my friend. Absolutely. On that note, we've had a ton of super chats tonight. I want to thank everyone for your wonderful support of what we do here at Disclosure tonight. More importantly, I want to thank, see if I can get this to come up here, Matthias, Phantomas, Dobroja, Donna, Dobroja again, SRF, What in the Mic, Lord McCormick, Mr. Catfish 2100, Philip, thank you very much, the Chromosome Cowboy, Lord McCormick, MAGA R Degenerates again, Lord McCormick again, Ian Harding, Shelley Montgomery, Snake Whitehead, Donna Fitzpatrick, people from all over the world, holy cow, and Philip Cossat, that chat show. Oh my God. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out to the show. Yeah, it's been a crazy night, and there's a lot of people in the chat, and I can probably kill myself thanking all the people in the chat who are there. Let's see who's there, and I'm going to thank everyone. Remember, if you've subscribed and you're in the chat now, I will go ahead and call off your name as we're going through it. So here we go. I'm alphabetical. All right, let's thank Alex Lewis, Alien Probe Master, Anonymous Rex, Antoinette, Anton, Art Attack, attorney to the EBEs. Good to see him, Mr. Morris. BB Smith 66, Becky Wright, Ben Bart, Betsis Barn, Bijayan Bain, Brendan England, Brains, Charisse, Chris Richardson, Christopher Howard, Country Carpenter, Corporal Abe, Craig, Devo, Demon Pla, Dan Larev, Darren Richards. We've got Daryl Zernick, David Funson, Durs has been here, Digger Dog, Dirk Ridley, Dr. Tim Taylor, all the way from the great country of Taiwan. DRVB, Eli McGinnis has been here, along with Eric Roth and the Gurus. Ernie's here, along with Phantomas. We've got, figuratively speaking, Fink Ployd, Firefly, Gazoo. Good to see you, Gazoo. Do I have Gazoo here? No one. Here we go. Oh, he's not going to work now. So, yeah, we got the great Kazoo, although he's calling Gazoo at this point. Let's go ahead and thank Gene Hess, Ghost Rider, Great Awakening, Green Tea with Lemon, Griff, all these great people in the chat. Holy cow. Heavy Piano Note, Holsey 815, HWCD Limited, Izzy Snoozin, JB, J Hardesty, James Matheson, J-Cat, Jed I, Jeff Willis, 80, Jenny L, Jeremy Linscott. We've got Jerry Carter, Joey Stoner, John Smith, KV, Kelly Brotner, Piercing Blue Eyes, Kevin Scott, King Bull, Coffee Cat, Christine, Jean Lewis, Lack, Lang, Louis V, Louis the Fifth, Illuminosity, Manus has been here, Miami, along with Marcus and the Mandels. We've got Marvin the Martian. We've got Matilda's been here, along with Medusa, Black and Black. We've got Metal Gaming. Good to see you, Martin. Michelle's been here, along with Mike Martin. Millicent. Good to see you, Millicent. Thank you for coming in tonight. Modern Office Girl, Mr. M. Spin. We've got Noah Hyde 72, Point Leader 75. Who else do we have out there in the chat? Let's take a look. Pablo Escobar. I don't think it's that one, but you never know. Paul Damon. We got Paul and Hooker. And Shooker. We'll get that one. Close enough. Paul Vest. Preston Evans, RS. Raul. We've got Rising Up. Rid Comics. Robert Kanaski. Or Kaczynski. There we go. That's better. A good Polish name. I almost slaughtered that one. Roland Gibbs, Rollins. We've got Roy Adi. We got Ryan Rips, Sam, Scotty Wills, CU, Ciano, Shane the 14. We got Shelly Montgomery. Good to see you, Shelly. Shermanator Osborne, our resident Ancientologist. Silly Humans. Twixer for kids. We got Sprightly Sprice, Gemstones, Crystal Mineral Magic, the longest name we've got out there tonight, my friends. Stephen Forbes, Stevie Cakes, Tech Monkey, Terrence Bruce, Terry Bates, That's Unique Tennessee, Faz Through, The Bunny House, The Mac Geek, The Vanilla Gorilla, Tim Othman. Good to see you, Tim Othman. You're, as usual. Tommy Corvello, I'm getting to the end. Here we go. Toxic Revenger, Truth Biscuit, Two Head 666, V, Vic Vancouver, What the UFO, When Weebs React, Yolanda, Yell Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy, listening in at work, and Z Corp Alpha. How about that? What a great show. What a great audience. More importantly, it's not just about the audience and about the people who've given us super chats. A lot of the conversation came out of our friends who've been in the back. And who do we still have in the back right now? Let's thank the people who've asked questions tonight. Corporal Abe, thank you, sir, for coming out.
Hey, thank you, Mike, Thomas, everybody in the Disclosure Tonight community. Great show. Let's keep our eyes in the sky and let's figure this problem out. Love you. Happy holidays.
Yeah, don't forget to go outside and look up and take with your phone and take videos, my friends. Also want to thank Jeremy Reeves. Thanks for coming out today, Jeremy.
Thanks. Yeah, check me out on Alien Scientist here on YouTube.
There we go. Great show, my friend. You do a lot of great stuff getting into anti-gravitics and all that kind of stuff. You're involved in a lot of great pieces. If you want to learn about the science, about UAPs, the alien scientist, Jeremy Reeves is the place to get it. Thank you for coming out tonight, Jeremy.
Keep up the great work, Tom.
Thank you, sir. I also want to thank, let's see who else asked questions. Ali Albion, thanks for coming out tonight, Ali.
Yeah, thank you, guys. It was a fantastic show tonight. Again,
oh, you're telling me.
You're really the best. Yeah, the best UFO show in the universe. Thank you so much, guys.
If not the most watched at one time, holy cow, we're 5,000 people watching tonight, Ali, at one time. Over 51,000 views already in a show. That's a record.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Also want to thank Rick Roberts. Thanks for your questions tonight, my friend, and thanks for your silliness.
Anytime. I can't wait for the freak off in the back chat.
There we go. Also want to thank Syrup. Thanks for coming out, my friend.
Thank you, Thomas. Another great show, man.
Oh, you're telling me. And getting back. Oh, sorry. And getting back to our friend in New York. Mike, you need to go out and look up. You may see something.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. They seem to be everywhere. In real time, these things are like, forget it. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. I also want to thank Gary, all the way from the United Kingdom, who's been watching a lot of the things going across social media. He's been our star reporter tonight, giving us a lot of the great UFO news alerts. So thank you, Gary, for going ahead and making this show so spectacular as we could. And as we usually say, Mike, at the end of every episode of Disclosure Tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone, but
go back to Party City where you belong.
Because it's the only city where we all belong. Good night, everybody. We'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. Good night. Bye-bye.